General. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a seat, please. Have a seat. Please allow me to stand on the existing protocol. I want to say, please listen. We have our motto about the importance of this institution. And then we say, when we say first priority, we say the people. The reason we say first priority, we say the people because the People Action Party, priority number 1, priority number 2, and 3, everything is about the people. So when we say first priority, then you shout the people. When you shout the people, it reminds you why you are here. No matter why you are here, sitting under the sun, walking, your concern is about the people of Liberia. And that is why we all are seated here today. So we're ready to go ahead. Are you ready? Are you ready? First priority! But now you are ready. The food already here. You can shout. The food here already. So don't worry. Food already inside there. First priority! I will not tell you the soup that will cook because you're not shouting well. First priority! I hear you more noise on the side here. Okay, let us start with first priority! First priority! The melody here, first priority! Wow, thank you. Indeed, first priority, the people. Second priority, the people. Third priority, the people. We all are happy to be here, and I want to say thanks to the ruling Unity Party Secretary General for being present here today. We invited all of the political parties to come because we think that this is about Liberia. This is not about one individual. This is about Liberia. In order to solve Liberia problem, Liberians must sit together. We are not enemies. Let's sit together. Let's have a discussion. Let us not look at only the downfall of that institution or the person. Let us sit together and discuss what the problems are and how can we move forward. Too long we have struggled. It's about time we move forward. Other countries are going ahead. They can't wait for us. We need to move forward. So I want to say to you, fellow citizens and partisans of the People Action Party, I want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. All of the 15 counties are represented here. All of the 73 electoral districts are all represented here. Thank you for coming. And we're going to make this rotational. We're going to go into other counties. This is the period of organizing our institution. Put ourselves together, organize ourselves, put ourselves in structure. The next thing is the mobilization. We are going to move from district to district, county to county to understand what the problems are, the problem our people face. We will visit door to door, house to house. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come out as a political institution and come up with a paperwork and submit it to the ruling Unity Party and say to them, election is coming, but these are the issues. We will give it to them. We will not expose it just because we want to seek the downfall. We will come out to raise the issues, come up with suggestions on the floor, and we submit officially. We will invite members of the press and everybody and submit our papers, our working papers to you and say these are the issues in Liberia, in the 73 electoral district, the towns and villages, the 15 counties, and we submit it to them with suggestions and proposals. We will not just sit there, we will also tell them we have the technical know-how in the various districts, in the various communities, so that we can move this country forward. My people, our people have struggled a lot because we keep fighting one another. We will now pray for the government not to succeed, because if the government doesn't succeed, the country will not move forward. We will pray that the government succeed so that the people will benefit. As we speak with the issues at the border in Lofa County, the People Action Party will be working with our partisans in Lofa County to immediately, by next week, set up a relief team where we will surface at the border between Liberia and Guinea. Not just that, we at the People Action Party have started discussions. We believe the issue at the border can be solved traditionally, because those at the borders are traditional people. Therefore, we will sit on the table traditionally. We have already placed a call to our friends and family in Guinea and said, look, we are not here to fight for too long. We want to develop our country. What we believe in is let's sit on the table and have a discussion. By God's grace, they have said to us, yes, we are willing to sit on the table. So we want to sit, we want to call on the traditional people in Lofa County, to be specific, in Foya, Konya, Kalahun District, Buyadu, Masamlahu, Gegedu. We want to sit on the table, all of the elders. We will sit down at the Makonda River and eat together and say, let's move forward. The People Action Party will not encourage any partisans to say, let the Guineans come and fight us. Because you and I are in Monrovia. Our people at the border will struggle, they will suffer. Therefore, we will not encourage the government to use any means of force, but the government will encourage a peaceful dialogue. And let me take this time to appreciate His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, for the dialogue posture that he has started. If you in the People Action Party, when you do well, we'll tell you thank you. And we'll not just sit there, we will also join you to solve the problem. This is not just about leadership, it's about saying enough is enough. We need to move our country forward. So all partisans, I want to say to you, thank you. As you come today to elect your leaders in the counties, in the districts, I want to encourage you to look at the bigger picture. Not because you know someone, therefore they should be elected, but based on what they can do in the interest of our country. So I want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for being patient. We are here all day and all night tonight. We will continue the process until tomorrow evening.
Fellow Liberians, our country cannot succeed unless the people of Liberia succeed. The truth is, the Liberia we live in right now is hurting, and we cannot continue down this road. But if we have faith and new political leadership dedicated to working to ensure that Liberia takes its rightful place as a leading nation in Africa, then the suffering of our people will not be the end of our story, merely the beginning. We must decide what type of nation we want to live in, what type of standards we want to set for ourselves, and what type of dreams we want to invest in that will ensure Liberia is the greatest country on the African continent. A new Liberia with modern hospitals in every single district in our country, so that Liberians do not die from preventable diseases and a lack of good and affordable care. A new Liberia with the best schools, well-paid teachers, and well-fed students. A new Liberia that ensures that we will be self-sufficient in our staple food of rice, while having renewed infrastructure that will include the pavement of modern roads to all of our county capitals. We must believe that change is here. And in this new Liberia, we will have practical change that will be both seen and felt. It will be seen because of advances we would make to ensure we have cheap and stable electricity for all. In this new Liberia, we will eliminate government corruption, and our beloved country will be a model for Africa, where transparency becomes the norm and corruption is rooted out. Honesty and integrity will become the cornerstones of our government. When you wake up, there will be jobs for you to go to, new housing estates being built, and you will have your children, as well as your sisters and brothers, being trained as lawyers, doctors, nurses, teachers, engineers, and technicians. If there is one child in Liberia that goes to bed hungry in this new Liberia, it will be one too many. If there is one person in this new Liberia who dies because they do not receive proper medical care, it will be one too many. But in order to change, we must change the very idea of who we elect to lead us, because our people are suffering. Too many Liberians have no food, no jobs, no roads, no hospitals. For far too many, there is no hope. I promise my Liberian brothers and sisters that no one will be left behind in Liberia's transformation.
All right, I promise my Liberian brothers and sisters, no one will be left behind. I'm assuming that when he becomes, or if he becomes president of Liberia. So welcome to the show. My name is Alvin. I'm going to be sitting here today for the host. The host is Junior Payne. He's not going to be with us today. He's having some technical difficulties. I want to say thanks to all of you for joining us. We have several panelists. Some of them are in the back. Some are running late. They will join us here shortly as we start our show. This is BKS TV, the Heat Hour, where we come on here every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time in Liberia, 8 p.m. Liberian Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time in the U.S., to discuss everything from politics to development to Liberia, international news. I mean, we discuss everything in between there. So we are hosting one of our brothers today, Johnny. I don't know how to say the last name, so I don't want to butcher it. I'll wait. You say it before I attempt to say it. How do you say the last name?
Well, This is a simple Liberian name with just 5 letters you wouldn't pronounce. Where you were to pronounce a Russian name that were all consonants, you'd be fighting to pronounce it. See that?
How bad,
Yeah, but
let me
try to pronounce it.
let me
I'm
try.
not
Let
going
me
to
try.
contempt. Try to pronounce it.
Let me
Try.
try. Yeah, because that's embarrassing. I can't be typical Liberian in my country, man. I can't pronounce this simple name. So is Johnny KM Ndebe.
Right. You see, you there. You got it.
That's right. So how you really
The
how
name
you say it? Okay, I can one.
is actually in Debe. It's Johnny
Ndebe.
Debe.
Oh, so the end. Okay, that is the silent Ndebe.
The end
Okay.
the D are combined Debe. You know.
Oh, Ndebe. Okay, got
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I want to say a big thanks to you for taking up your time to come on the show. I know when I called you, it was very short notice, and you never hesitated, you know. And then when I added a Nima Kante flavor to it too, you say, "Oh no, Nima Kante and Makante." You started naming Nima Kante the towns that I have not even heard of in years. I want to say thanks so much for coming. This is BKS TV. We are an online platform. We also have physical presence in Nimba. We have our radio station in Nimba that relays the show in Butuo, one of the areas we work. So we have a lot of followers, people that follow the show religiously on a nightly basis. So I want to say thanks. We pray and hope that this is not just one time that you will be one of our regular contributors here. So I'll stop here and just, as we always do, welcome to the show, DK. So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. So we'll start today. We'll start by, a way of introduction. We have our people following. They want to know who you are. If you don't mind, give us a brief introduction of yourself, and then we'll go straight into our show.
All right. So thank you. Let me say good evening to the viewers and listeners from wherever they are. And for the matter of fact, since this platform has a direct link to NIMA with radio station carrying live, let me extend my greetings and seek permission from the elders of NIMA, old man Pema from Campley, the old man, how you call it, Omar Rebecca Doe from Dochi Dome in the Tapeta region. I want to also talk to old man Samuel Kura, one of the paramount chief in the Tapeta region too, and all those chiefs that I work with, women leaders and youth leaders across the length and breadth of Nimba County. I'm saying, I don't know how to say good evening, but I'll just say, Bravo.
We got plenty traveling them out. I wonder we got a few more.
Yeah.
Bravo. Whenever it looks like he's sticking to his network. DK, how you doing tonight? This evening from our end.
We, we also have the crown that I would say Aseo in I'm sorry, I think it's the internet from my end.
Yeah, the internet from your end. Yeah, I think it's from your end, yeah.
Yeah. So let me say I'm Johnny Ndebe. I work formerly for the Carter Center. It is from this work that I was able to visit the length and breadth of Liberia, the 15 counties. And also, I want to send greetings to my big brother, Joyce Say, who is based in Ghana, who was my direct contact in Nima. We worked together on the Carter Center program in the past. And he's a very good Nima man to me. He's an elderly brother. He's like a father to some extent. And so I will say hi to everyone. I'm sorry if I didn't call your name from Nima. I know so many persons, but the time is so short, I cannot call your name. But those from the Zoga area, from Zogbao, from Tua River, from Gui and Doru, from the Kabli area, from the Bo and Quila, from Garbane, that's the Kanta area, and the Lao, Sao area. I mean, I'm across the length of Niba. I say good evening to all of you, and may this discussion be peaceful and be informative and help to shape our thinking as Liberians, as people of Niba County. So that's all I can say of myself so far. Maybe as we progress with the conversation, we'll say more about what we've been doing in Liberia and specifically in Nima County.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show, birthday man. You good? You can hear us? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I think all is okay from my end.
So this is the original host. This is the main man. He had a birthday yesterday. The debate and the man just lost from me. Oh, he just been celebrating. So I'm surprised that he showed us that. Welcome,
No,
welcome to the show.
thank you. See you. I want to say thank you to our guest, Mr. Johnny. Johnny, welcome to
Yes.
the show. It's great to have you on here tonight. I know you've been speaking to your people in the various tribes we have in Nima. You spoke to the people in B. You spoke to them in Mana, but you forgot the Mandingo and the Gio. So let me just help you. You know, now we kabua.
Now
The
we
Mandingo.
Kabuya, Kabuya. Okay, you got it right. You just reminded me.
Yeah, so you left the Mandingo people aside to I don't know how to say
I
good
think I
evening
think
in
that
Mandingo,
I
but
think
I know
that
Nisoma,
Nisoma, yeah, I think
Nisoma.
that.
So I think I know Nisoma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Mr.
Nisoma
Johnny is
and
good.
Nula.
Yeah, so welcome to the show this evening. We are very grateful to have you on here. I know the CEO has started with you. You've done maybe your introduction and stuff. You came from the civil society background. Now, I don't know where you are currently, what's your current position, but do you care to tell us a little bit about your current status and we can start a conversation from there?
All right. So yeah. So like I said, I work formerly for the Cattle Center, 15 plus years. I mean, right
Mhm,
now I'm concluding a short contract with them. I've also, upon my departure from the center, because we closed the program, the Cattle Center has closed all of its engagements and activities in Liberia. You know, we have a just small team now that is working, having oversight in Sierra Leone, Uganda, and Nigeria. But that team is basically the mental health team. And my program at the time with the center was involved with rule of law and access to justice and democracy program. So those programs are closed. So while I was working for the Carter Center and the opportunity I was given to go around the country, there are a lot of things that I identify in Liberia that were not in line with the program I was doing, and I thought they were important for us. So as I close my time with the Carter Center, I have been working on organizing my own agency that will be working towards identifying and recognizing traditional and cultural heritage sites that we have in our country in various parts of Liberia that are not known by people. I tend to have those heritage sites, you know, and advertise to the Liberian government and to the world. And so that's where I'm going to focus on. And I also want to focus on working in making sure that if I can get funding, some of the things that we're doing under the Cattle Center program, I can try to see if I can get some of them implemented through my own organization that I'm working to get it organized and focus on. The first project I'm working on now, which is we have a heritage site that is in Lofa in the Zozo region in the town called Yela. There's a cultural heritage that left back there where, in my estimate, maybe 200 years ago, our ancestors in that part built a wall city, which means they had a community fenced in with a very high level in the natural wall that was built on natural materials. And we have
mhm,
remnant of that wall still in Lofa. And I see that as a serious heritage that we need to protect, preserve for the unborn generation to be, to know and see how our people talk, because that feature suggests how our ancestors' intelligence was to build a wall around the place. And in that town, I also have learned that during those old days, our people dug trench. So you can see that the idea of trench is not just in the Middle East. I believe it was also part of our people party, because there's a place they showed me where they say our ancestors dug a trench in that town that came out through another part of the hill. In the case where they had civil war or tribal war and the war was going against them, they would take that path with all the women and wounded men through the trench and keep them in a safe place. So those are places where I want to go about to do. There's a place also identified in Maryland in the Barabo region in the cave. The cave that's, I mean, it's a very huge cave that was used again by our ancestors way back in that part of Liberia as a place for home for their warriors that were wounded and women and children. So those are areas where I have a lot I've seen across the country. I would like to identify once I got the funding, identify those places and be able to elevate it. We can have our heritage site that people can visit and see what we have and what our ancestors, developed and built years past in Liberia. So that's what I'm focused on
Thank,
right now. And then the second part is also
mhm.
I'm also involved with politics in terms of governance and rule of law for Liberia.
Great. So we will take it step by step. We'll go to the governance issue, but let's firstly start with where you are focused on currently. The cultural aspect of Liberia, preserving our cultural heritage, has been one of the key and major aspects that Liberia has forgotten about for the past decades now. But recently, the cultural affairs was taken from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, and they were placed on a separate side, meaning to operate on their own. How do you intend to carry on this beautiful idea you have in working in alliance with the government of Liberia?
Yeah, I'm informed that the government has now established a bureau of uh, I think tourism. I
Culture,
don't know what
yeah.
culture and tourism, and so I'm
Mhm.
intending to find their office, visit with them, tell them all my things I have in mind. Because firstly, when I did the research on UNESCO website, I realized
Mhm.
that the bureau is not on UNESCO website with any cultural heritage site. And a lot of African countries around us that are, you know, that got to showcase their cultural heritage. You got cultural heritage from in Mali, I think in Guinea, in Cote d'Ivoire, other places that are recognized by UNESCO. But then when I did the research, I realized I didn't see any cultural heritage site on from Liberia. And those areas that I've seen or I came in contact with doing my field work in those part of Liberia, I think those places will be elevated as cultural heritage site. And that's why I thought to move. So, like you said to your question, I will locate that office, I will meet with them, and then I will need to work together to elevate because UNESCO will not recognize a place that is not endorsed by the government. So I will have to work with the Ministry of Information or the Bureau of Custom or Bureau of how you call it here,
Culture and
tourism,
tourism.
culture and
Mhm.
tourism to see how we can work together and elevate those places that Liberia has. So that's what I want to do. Everything I'm doing, I want to do it in line with the government because the government is the picture of the country. The government is the one that provides the country's image out there. So whatever we do, once we work through the government, we believe it will be good for Liberian people.
Thank you. Now, a lot of people listening to you tonight will say, Johnny, during your time at the Carter Center, we used to hear your name in Liberia in every corner. We saw the work you did in the country. And now tonight you're mentioning what are the challenges that you saw from the culture side area? What are some of those challenges that you saw in your field of work in Liberia that you think, because this one you identify it as a problem and you want to resolve that problem, but what are some of those challenges that you saw you think the government needs to work on it from your field of study? I mean, you're
You know, you
working in Liberia.
know, typically, culture in simple terms is a way of life.
Mhm,
So every ethnic group in Liberia has a unique cultural identity. And I've
mhm.
been fortunate to have traveled across and interacted with all the ethnic groups and gone to more than 20, 30, 40, 50 towns in those communities and interacted with the custodians and sorry. So I've been able to identify the places. So the cultural issue is important. One thing I think we need to do is how Liberia has a unique situation. The Western style of government, in my definition, right, where we got the Western governance system that was introduced to Liberia by the free slaves, right? They introduced what we call government today, democracy, election. They were introduced by the free slaves that came to Africa, Liberia, that established Liberian state. But going back, the Liberian state was already Liberian state already existed, not as Liberian state. We have governments here through our tribal groupings, our nation of Mano and Gio, for example, the nation of Bandi, the nation. Everybody has their own leadership here. We have government here. We have governance system here. If you guys ever live in Nima before going to the US, if you sit down and reflect how their people manage to pass rules and govern themselves in a way that they will restrict violation, they will restrict violence, they will stop abuse of people in the community, they have governance here. So what I realized is that the Western style of government that we call today Liberian government and our customary governance system, they need to build a link, a connection. Because let's go back. I did several research work with several universities from the US, Oxford University in London, I mean from UK, or Yale University, Columbia University, George Washington University, and another one I did work with. We were doing something on Liberia, looking at the Liberian rule of law and governance system with reference to access to justice. We realized that there's a gap. Many people in Liberia in the rural parts would prefer to take their issues of complaint to their traditional leaders, to the chief, to the elders, to their uncle, to their whatever to sort the matter. Even though they had the police around, even though they had the courts around, but they were more confident. I'm basically, man, they were more confident dealing with their own people that they have trust in than going to the police or the court. Now the issue is they see the police and court and those other institutions as foreign system to them. You understand what I'm saying? Foreign system to them. So we need to, and now that that system is the domineering or dominant system, we need to find a way where the system, what we call the Western governance system and the customary governance system need to collaborate in a way that will provide a wholesome functioning governance system where everybody become inclusive in the system. For example, when we're debating capacity of local leaders and chiefs about rule of law and governance, the chiefs said, look, we are willing to work with the police, the court, and the whole government system to ensure that we all play active role to bring peace, to bring security and cohesive governance in the country. But you won't believe that somebody goes to work in the county because he's appointed by the president or he's within the Western system of governance. He sees himself as a superior government official to the local leaders in the community, the local chiefs, the local elders. But meanwhile, those people are the gatekeepers for peace and stability. They are the gatekeepers for development. You understand? So these are things that I observe, and I will hope that on one of these occasions, our Ministry of Internal Affairs and the government of Liberia will work towards making sure that these people are not just people that you will call in town for meeting. When having big occasion, they come sit there in their gowns, and then after that, they go back to their community. But to be involved with the governance system of Liberia. And I believe if they are involved with the system of governance, we'll make our headway, we'll develop this place, and we'll keep its peace and security. I'll give you one example. In Pond County, a fellow committed a serious crime. He beat his wife. I think he killed his wife. He beat her up and killed her in the bush. They have jumped in the forest. The police could not identify this man. The police could not arrest him. They had no clue how to get him. The police had to work through us because we were working with them. When they call, I said, "Look, don't worry. Let's just get the chiefs involved. The chiefs will get their men, their hunters, and all those involved to go and do a manhunt in our forest, and they will find this individual." And for sure enough, the local chiefs in the area, I think it was in the Panta region, they worked along with the police and they had all the traditional hunters. And in less than a day, 24 hours, this guy who committed this crime was arrested from the forest and brought in town and turned over to the police. Those are things we can do to build our system so that we have a functioning governance system, not just because you are the one who is educated from the West or you have a Western style of governance, but we can also include our customary governance system in our overall rule of law in Liberia and governance of Liberia in a way that everybody play a role and make Liberia a wholesome, functioning society.
You come from a non-profit organization background, an institution that is known for protecting rule of law, advocating for human rights, and all of that. Now, given your experience, the level of time you've lived on this earth, how would you compare the current democracy we have from the post-war era to back before the post-war era? How will you compare Liberia?
Well, Liberia is still struggling to improve the governance system with regards to human rights.
Mhm.
And like I said, to have a sustained and progressive human rights program in Liberia, you need to have a collaborative system between the government, the central government, and the local government, so to speak. You cannot do human rights work in Liberia by condemning one person's way of life. That will be a problem. So, and because there is a UN Charter on people and cultural right,
Mhm.
so with all those protocols around, you cannot say human rights is not defined by Western philosophy. You should also define a perspective of their people's culture, their way of life. So until we can begin to see how what does gender role means in tradition, in the way of life of our people in Nimba, for example, what's the role of female, what's the role of male in our typical Nimba tradition? How does that relate to Western concept of human rights? Right? So, okay, for example, Western concept will tell you if you get a child on the farm working with you, that violation of child abuse. I was a child grew up in Lofa, up to the age of 7, 8, 9, 10. I was given work to do on the farm. But my parents did not give me a work that was more than me. They gave me a work to do that they knew fitted my age and my energy and my strength. Right? So we have to look at those kind of issues from that perspective. Somebody tell you if you let a child carry low on their hair, that child labor. Well, I grew up in Lofa. After school, I went to the farm.
So
I went,
are you saying because I don't want to limit this to Africa, I mean to Liberia only. Are you saying we the African we are not defining what child labor is as per our culture and tradition?
I think that's what we need to do. That's the direction I'm pushing into. We should not just sit and agree with what comes from across the Atlantic Ocean, or what comes from the form of colonial masters, or what comes from the Western perspective. We have to define ourselves based on who we are. Who we are, right? But my brother, no matter how many years you spend in the US or in Germany or wherever, you are an African. You can have all their papers as a citizen for that country. Don't forget, they know you as an African. You know what I'm saying? That's what they call you. They will call the hardy guys who were remnants of the slaves. They call them African Americans because they don't have direct link to African Americans. But they ask, why are you calling African Americans? Why don't you call them Americans? Why are you specifying a black man to be African Americans? You understand what I say? That should tell us that we have a unique cultural identity and we must protect and let be part of our governance system. We should not always be borrowing and taking other people's idea as a way of life. We have our way of life. We have our own dignity. We have our own mind. We can think and process ourselves. We can think logically. We can develop ideas that can make us to do better. So, like I said to you, when it comes to human rights, we must define it within the context of our own way of life as Africans and to be specific as Liberians.
And then, John, to add to the discussion you guys having there, I kind of like that. I think people, especially Liberians, we take those Western culture and overemphasize on that. Take for example, in the U.S. here, you will hear people saying, "Oh, they can't beat you in here, or they can't beat you in here." That's not true. In the U.S. here, people they can spank kids. They can spank them when they do wrong. So I think we Liberians, when we study the people culture and we learn about it, we tend to overplay it. We're applying that to our African culture, and like you
Yeah.
said, like we are Africans and we have to respect our culture. We have to live by it while we try to adjust to the Western culture. But I think we can overplay it, especially for Liberians. I don't know about other countries, but Liberians we tend to overplay it a lot.
Thank you. See you. Now let's take me to my last question before we come to you. See you and then Sam. You have specific interest, Mr. Johnny. You have specific interest in protecting our cultural heritage in Liberia. Now, taking you back to a recent communication, if I stand to be corrected, before the legislature to make certain cultural practice as non-traditional practice or harmful traditional practice, as we may call it. And one of them has to do with the poor in the Sunday society. What say you on this issue? Should Liberia venture into that, or we need to protect it?
You know, During the past regime, the former Vice President, Madam Joy Taylor, had interest in. She said specifically to me, she said she wants to pass a law to criminalize, some traditional practices, and she was wondering how can the Carter Center at the time help to do that. I said, well, we cannot make the law for you. We cannot help you to do your your law you want to make. I said, well, I can give you one advice, madam. The people that are involved with this practice that you want to criminalize, don't you want to meet with them and speak to them about what you think they're doing is criminal? I say to get make a law that say the law is made and they think it's criminalized, does it automatically stop what is happening? Something that is a way of life for more than a million years, if I can say. Then you just sit down just at the strip of the pen, write something and say, from today henceforth going forward, this is no more practice. If you do it, you are committing crime and being criminalized. How do you succeed in doing that? So I would tell anybody, before even thinking about saying this cultural practice should be criminalized or to be banned, you are here, you are Liberian, you are an African child. You are a part of it. I'm a member of the Poro to a very good extent, to a very high level, right? I understand a lot of things about Liberian culture when it comes to Poro and the Sunday, based on my status there, and which I'm proud to always say that I play a major role when it comes to Poro and Sunday business. I have better understanding, and that's why I wouldn't sit in any public gathering and speak negative about it. But we can discuss it in our own environment and say what is right, what is wrong, how do we improve. So that's why I have an issue with those who get want to write and make public policy statements and say, this is not correct because somebody came from somewhere and told you how they feel is wrong and this and that. We can make our change from within. You need to find the necessary stakeholders, the custodians of what they are doing, and you talk about it and say where the danger is, where the harm is. You can't get there and say this is a harmful practice. My mother bent to Sunday for example. My mother wanted Sunday for example. She wanted Sunday. She born 6 children. She's still alive. Very healthy, very moved. She carried on very well. She's about 75 now, right? She gave birth to 6 children. She didn't even have C-section at that time. Strictly, she gave birth to 6 children. She went to the Sunday. So what do you want? What are you saying to me? What are you saying to the people? If anybody has issue with these people practices, meet them in their environment. Send me as an agent. Pay me good money. Let me go sit down with them. Let us discuss it. And then we'll talk about how we can make the changes you want. You can't just get out and rest. You can make law today and say, I remember doing my study day, she was trying to pull a ban on this thing. And at the same time, she went to Lofa County. The same people she wanted to put ban on, they came in front of her to welcome her, dancing in front of her. So you're all here. The team wants that, you're all here. So people have to think about this thing. You got to think through it, not just because you are so much educated, you got master, you got PhD, so and you got a Western orientation, so you want to come and just say this is going to be a ban, you will ban it. You can't ban it the way you want to ban it. You can ask people to improve on things. They can do better into what they do. What you see as harmful, go to them in their own environment. Don't come call them for conference in Morovia, in Duko, in how you call it, Royal Hotel or someplace. Go to their own, go to their community, go to Nimba. Go to Nimba and meet the people there in camp and tell you say we can meet, this is our meeting place. You are going to sit there in their own environment. Then you tell them, this thing you're doing, this is my view on it, this is how I look like, this is how I look like. How can we improve it? Go all the way there in Kawia too. Go to Bevan way, right? You sit there and talk. You discuss the matters. But you want bring them in Morovia, you sit down in the city, in the city here, in a foreign environment. No, so my thought about that is if you want to you want to ban any cultural practice, what you see as wrong, come to us in our environment where we can sit and be comfortable to express ourselves to you. Then yourself you understand, then we can decide how to move ahead with it. Other than that, you continue to have a problem. You can make all the law with 100-page document, 2 million-page document. It will be on paper, but it will not be effective. It will not be supported. It will not be respected. I will tell you the truth.
Thank you. I don't know whether I should ask one last question.
Oh, go ahead. It's just
Okay,
two of us
great.
there tonight. Go ahead.
Now, I have spoken with some lawmakers, and some of them what they told me was the traditional practice. The reason why we want to ban the poor senior society is because these people, they interfere with the children's education, the Western education. Let me put it that way. Sometimes when the children go into school in some villages, they will go there and take them from there and carry them in the poorer society or in the senior society while regular schools are ongoing. For that reason, we need to ban it. Now, what could be your recommendation as someone who has also attended our cultural practice and also someone who have worked with international organizations that protect our culture and heritage in Africa? What could be a recommendation that you could make to the legislature, any of those legislators listening to you right now, that you could say this is what we're supposed to do and this is not what we're supposed to do?
The first thing, Junior,
Mhm.
GOP, right?
Yes, sir.
The first thing is whoever is that legislator that you're telling you that person is not a legislator. That person is an
Okay.
honorary person. Because you are the one the people elected. You understand? They
Mm.
elected you to be their direct representative in the government. Then you come and sit in Morovia and begin to say things about their way of life. You are from them. So the logic is that, look, if there's anything going wrong here, you go to them for your discourse. You know, the representative or senator is a messenger for the people. And that's the error people make in this country. But as soon as they are elected, they think and assume that they got no more link with people in that place. In fact, they are the poor kings and bosses. When they come, the people should all worship them, kill their goat for them, kill chicken for them to eat, and then go back. When they elect you, you are the poor direct messenger. You don't have power. They got the power. So go to them and sit down with them. Say, look, I'm hearing this in the legislature from some other people. But you have advised me, what can we do with this? So my advice to any lawmaker, whether senator or representative, on this matter, if you can't say that and tell me, say, oh, we want pass law because my man, Lord, that person ain't know what they're doing. That person does not even deserve being in that house as representative at all. Because they don't know what they are doing. They don't know who the people who are those that they are representing. You gotta know those people that have sent you to work. You gotta know them. Then you know how to work for them, how to represent them. They don't know them. That's why they're talking about what they want to talk about. So just to answer your question the way you are, because I want to first tell you that person who told you that person does not deserve being a representative of the people. They don't deserve being there. They want to show you, I will tell them straight in their face, they don't deserve being there because they don't know their role
Mm.
then and represent. But the point is this: it's the same kind of perception. I was going to school in Lofa when I went to the Poro. Look, gentlemen, our people are not stupid. Our people are more collaborative, they are more receptive to these foreign ideas than even we who call ourselves native children have gone to school and learned Western education. Our people in the rural part of Liberia, our traditional leaders, our elders, they are more understanding, they are more receptive than we who believe that we got a master's degree and a PhDs. Isn't it stupid? How can they accept the missionary to come build church in their community, to build school? And they didn't value education, and they didn't value Western education. How can they allow people to come build interpreter, they build a school interpreter in the St. Francis School? How can they allow people to come middle school in Ganta, in San Nicolas in Marriott, in Campley? How can they allow people to build that? You know what's stupid? You think if they wanted to be all the protective of the culture, they would have resisted those things. But they agreed, they didn't give that land to the churches, to the school. Look at the Ealing Church in Nima County. They gave land to them. So when when my parents were about to take me to Pora, first thing is nobody put in Pora about force. And this is where we need the government to the internal affairs ministry need to work with the people in this sector to know how to coordinate their activities. I will give you one clear example in my home in Lofa County. Lofa County will not force anybody into Pora. Your parents will plan in advance. Like you want to send your child to school. You got to plan the child need to go to school. The child need uniform. The child need food. The child need. You plan for it in advance. Nobody put anybody in power by force. And that's where we need to work with the people in that sector to say, look, you are causing problem for your own institution. Do not allow anybody to make you to make public ridicule of your cultural practice. That's another part we do also. That's a bad sign of our people. They're allowing people to come from Arabia and say, oh, well, we are putting them in the problem. No. What I know about we got time. For example, in Lofa, we got time. When we gave the time, like right now in Lofa, in the Zozo area, no man is going to Power Bush now. Yeah, it's actually now, the land now is in the hands of the women. At this period now, in the last 2 or 3 of almost 3 years now, no man is attempting to do any Power business. The whole entire land is in the hands of women. So they're doing by order of their structure. This period, this year, this clan will do the Sunday. They graduate. The following year, the other clan do the Sunday. They graduate. When the women turn ends in 3 years, we have a big occasion where the women now turn the land over to the men to do that poro for 4 years. So right now, nobody will follow my poro in Lofa right now. Nobody follow my poro because there's no poro business going on in Lofa now. It's purely Sunday in most part of Lofa right now, so to speak. So this is a system. It's a complete institution. But if people don't understand it, they come and just say thing in the public as though because they can speak English more than me, or they go on to Western school in London or wherever, and you can talk blah 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 blah. Disgracing themselves. The thing that is disgracing our traditional leaders in this country. Don't get me wrong.
The,
People are doing some
the poor,
traditional.
the poor in the senior society is our cultural identity as Liberians. Do you think the government of Liberia has been doing her best to make sure that Liberians identify with that? Because I believe that the reason why we Liberians have a misconception with this is in other parts of Liberia, they don't consider this thing. I mean, certain cultural group, they don't consider it, but certain people consider that. And these people, they believe that the foreign education is more important than the traditional education, the poor in the Sunday society education. They believe that it's not that important as compared to the foreign education. Now, do you think the government has been doing her best to make we, the Liberians, understand what the poor in the Sunday society is?
I don't think so. The government has not done that. The actors in government have not been able to even sit there and think about why do we have these institutions that have been around for the last 100, 300, 4 years ago in this country. Let me tell you one thing. The war
Mhm,
poro, we have 9 counties in Liberia that are practicing poro. But besides the
mhm,
9 counties, other people practice poro in a different form. I have been to the southeast region, right? The southeast region do theirs because no, they have a group, they have a system where they educate the young males before becoming adult. The same logic about poro is about getting young men educated, prepare them. When we didn't have Western people in the country, who built the bridges in our communities? Who built the roads? It was through the poro system. Who built the roads? Who built the bridges? Who built? Have you seen what we call Monkey Bridge? Have you seen it before? Any of you? Have you seen
Yeah,
Monkey
mhm.
Bridge? Have you
yeah.
have you
Yes,
have
sir.
you traveled through Monkey Bridge, gentlemen? Have any of you used Monkey Bridge in Liberia when
Yes,
you were here?
Yes.
yes,
Have you
yes.
have you thought about how that Monkey Bridge was built?
No, it reminds me of the way people, the Chinese and other people build bridges at
Ah,
night. Yeah.
but besides that, you got a bridge in London. Why you got a London downtown bridge where, right?
Yeah.
That's what kind of bridge you build there, right? Fine. But have you thought about how our African ancestors developed the idea and what kind of institution was responsible to build bridges like that hanging over the long river? You walk through and go. And we still have the bridges in Liberia, yeah, in some part of Lofa, some part of Bonkan, we still have those bridges around. So what I want to do is people in government need to sit down and think. Don't just jump on and say, I want to stop something. What is the value in this thing? How does this thing help society? Look, I went to work in Bele Fasama some years past. This place then had no network connection, no phone network, nothing. No police deployed there, no code there, no central government system is there beside having one man called a commissioner there. But that place, in my view, is the most law-abiding community in Liberia under the rule of the customary system. In that place, I got there, I didn't see any young boy or young girl involved with violence in terms of even just the dress code. The dress code in the town. No young man is allowed to even work and hang your trousers down and say you want to do sake. No. They put you in order. Right? No matter what in that time you have an issue, you take it to the elder or to your chief leader in your family, they will get involved with it. People are doing go away in that place, go and diamond away in that place. But all the diamond and gold fields are restricted by the traditional system. That place was so peaceful, so calm, under the rule of the customs and tradition of the better people in that place, of the better people. You understand? So what I'm saying here is our government system need to find a way to identify the positive part of these things. The connection should be there. And I tell you, my brothers and sisters here, I mean my brothers here, the people are more law abiding than us in the Western community. Come today, the Morovia, cyclists, young boys and girls, people walk around the community, play loud music, megaphone in their hand, with no respect. You see person in one community talking something, you just walk among them with a megaphone. No discipline. The country is out of social order. And these institutions brought social order in the communities. If I'm walking in the town and I see a group of women in one community, that tells me I should not go there. But these days, the guys who don't have no idea, they'll just go and intrude those women privacy. And we are taught those things in our system. When you see any 2, 3 women together on the road, you go, if you want to pass there, you must alarm. Or I pass you, so that you can protect them. Maybe they are discussing some privacy that you're not supposed to hear. Those are things we learn in the system. The same thing. If a woman is passing, she's with me in group, and she must pass there, but if that's the only rule she got to pass, she will alarm in the way that you know woman passing. So if you have to discuss anything in private about your men, so she won't hear it, so she won't intrude into your privacy. Those are just some simple things. For example, you see or you passing the time, you see a sand or thing or some leaf or thing tar somewhere. It's telling you do not throw that here. Do not waste garbage here. They got signs and symbols that we use in our traditional setting to create order, to create system. So we have to, as a government, know these things, learn these things, and know how we can collaborate and then tell people that, look, our way of life not just negative as you see it, but if we don't sell ourselves, somebody will sell our story and they will tell what they will say, what they think they want to say about us, and then we'll be left with nothing to protect. Look, you guys in the US, what do you see people doing what they call Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Doing Halloween in the US, what do you see? What do you see in America doing Halloween?
Lot of cultural, lot of things, lot of cultural practices, a lot of different things that people call it demonic and all that stuff, but it's something that they hold dear to them. Yeah.
So that means don't people have a time in every year? I think it's a whole month, right?
October, yeah, you have it October. I think the end of October. October
Okay.
30th.
Some places they have October, some places November, between the October and November.
Exactly. And when you're walking around, when you're driving around, you see all kind of fearful things, skeleton looking materials, all around people here on their door and things, right? So are they now celebrating their cultural, their own cultural practice of respecting demon in the view that you're seeing there?
Yeah.
So why are we sitting here and just allowing everything coming to us? We don't have time to even evaluate and know something and just accept everything from across the Atlantic Ocean because women say it. We have to be ourselves. We have to protect ourselves. We have to be identified by our culture. Your culture make you to be, your cultural identity is the one that make people know who you are. Let's go back a little bit. All our fathers that went to school in the 50s, 60s, and 70s that were raised on the traditional practice from their homes while going to school. Look at the way they respond to things, the way they behave, the way they act. And look at those today from the same Nima, Lofa, Bon, everybody that are going to school and our response. In fact, our most intelligent people from our counties that went to school in the 50s, 70s, 60s, 70s, and late 80s, they are more intelligent than us today that are going to school in the 90s and onward. Do you want to know what is the basis of their intelligence, of their success in terms of their thinking, that their level of thinking? It's also linked to their culture, their way of life. They need to learn how to think, how to respond to things. You understand? So it's a whole, I mean, you can go on and on and on and on. It's a whole lot of things we can discuss. So like I said, in the southeast region, in the global or the crew area, they didn't call it Kafa. The Kafa is a group of young men that are trained into acrobatic things. They are the ones that those days they were trained to defend their community as the warriors with elders around them. You got what you call the Bodio in the southeast again. The Bodio is that spiritual leader. He does not go to farm. He doesn't farm. All he does is to always pray. He's solemn. He always pray on behalf of the community, to their ancestors, to God, to bless them, to succeed in farming, to keep peace, to keep sicknesses away from the place, to keep them in good health. The wife of the Bodio is the Jide. The Jide also is like a queen. She doesn't work. They put in a time where her sons on young women with her to take care of her, cook for her, care for her, everything. I have met with Jide. I've interacted with Jide. I've interacted with Bodios when I work in the Southeast. How did I interact with them? I was doing a research work in a town called Whole Grave in Maryland. While working with, I saw certain signs and symbols that told me that I should not go that direction. I should not go there. Something is happening that doesn't belong to me. So I halted my team. I said, German, let's go away from this. I can't go here. Oh, that guy said, no, you can see what I see, but let's go back. We cannot interfere. We sat down, we waited. Later on, we asked for the town chief. Town chief came, and he said, who's your team leader? I said, I'm the team leader. He said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Morovia. He said, no, what's your home of origin? Where you come from originally? I said, I'm from Lofa. He said, okay, we see why. I said, what happened? He said, we saw you coming with your people, and you stop them, you carry them back. You have to respect people based on the culture of the people. Maybe if I had not had the training I had to see signs and symbols of cultural groupings, cultural activities, we would have intruded into the people and they would have done something to us, and that would have been a problem for us. So I'm just saying to you, our culture in Liberia is not too different. It's just language. Let me give you one last example. I went to Grand there in the place in the Congo region, and I went all the way back in the place called Flattown to work with people there to do some study there. And this evening, when I got there, was like midday, and everybody had gone to farm, only children and some, elders who were in the town. And so when people came from the farm, I went, I met them, introduced myself while I was there for the rest of it. That night, they brought out the traditional, they were called it devil, but I would say traditional master that night in the town. And I was there, and they put lodge me. I was in the house. I could not understand the language, but I understood what was happening out there because I know where I come from. My eyes are open, right? I couldn't understand Kra. I don't speak Kra. I didn't understand Kra, but I knew what was happening out there. I knew what was happening. So when you're making to the door, oh, I said, Chief, please go in your room. I was so thing happening. I said, okay, no problem. I went in my room, assuming that I'm a non-member or I don't understand. I went in my room. When the day all that thing they came back, we went out, they brought palm wine, we had palm wine together. We're going to talk some things about life, about culture and tradition. And they realized that the difference is just the language. And certain practices that will be happening, but the core value is what is the same between the Loma man, the Bandit man, the Klan man, what I saw there. So let me stop there, let this call. We can go more. I can give you more example from different upper angle of Liberia. I just left from Southeast. Now I know I talk about the Kran, the Krebo. I talk a little bit about the Grand, about Nim. I could even go across, the Gola and Var region. But Gola and Var is the same thing as Lofaka. Those are upper
with my interaction with you tonight, I don't think someone is the best or suited person to really protect our cultural heritage in Liberia than you. The perception or the perception that we've been getting from people outside of the poor and the senior society has been different. From a place that we don't believe in that, we have our own traditional thing that we go through. But then the people that we see are from Nyor, we from the Gill Belt, we don't really believe in the poor and the senior society. So I'm from Nyor in
what do they do with the young men?
They got their own thing to do there. The CEO can talk about.
No, you must not go there. You the one brother. Answer that question.
So the only reason why I brought this up is that I just wanted to take you back to maybe in Ghana. I had some Ghana teacher when I was in high school, and all of these people came from different part of Ghana, but they spoke the same language, which is a trick. I think they call it a trick. According to them, they are taught this trick in university, they are taught in high school, they are taught even in kindergarten school. So whenever you meet your Ghanaian brother or your Ghanaian sister out there, and you guys don't want to speak the English, you speak the common language, which is the trick. And this common language we have in Liberia, the Kpele. But unfortunately, Mr. Johnny, this Kpele is not taught everywhere across Liberia. I'll give you a typical example where I sit in Rwanda. Rwanda, the people speak a language called Kinyarwanda. That Kinyarwanda is spoken by every individual. whether a
Yeah.
kid, whether an old person, everyone of them speak that language. That's the common language. That's the common thing to identify with themselves. But it was forsake you to know that I will see my fellow Liberian sister or brother, and I will go to greet them, I will greet them in our common Liberian English, not to greet them in maybe in Pele, because they can't speak the Gil, they can't speak the Mana, they can't speak the B. So we all
Yeah.
speak the common English. So our culture, like you said, our cultural heritage need to be protected. I believe that Western education is also playing some part in protecting our cultural heritage, but we need to set a time bomb. We need to set some kind of tradition there where one may say, when the Poro are doing their thing, by that time, the Western education will be closed. Or when the Western education doing their thing, the poor will wait. When the Western education is closed, and the poor can take over. Like you said, I know a lot of people. I had a friend who used to be a drug dealer. Nobody took him to rehabilitation center or any other thing. When your father took him to the village, carrying to the Senate Society, he came from there. The guy was perfectly okay. As we speak right now, he's a role model to many of us. He's an evangelist in the church. So we need this. We need it. But let me stop here. We got a lot of things to discuss, and let's not dive into the issue because I know I don't make any thoughts. So let's not go into that issue, Bene. And see you. Welcome. Let's hear you, Chief.
I think we have had. I never expected this type of conversation, but we have learned a lot just within the past. I would say 30 minutes. Yeah, something that we didn't know, and I'm grateful that he's sharing light on this because, like you said, people have different perception of it, and my concern here, or my thing has been, I think our guests emphasize on this a lot more, where people want to sit in Monrovia, use their power in Monrovia, they're in the urban area, and make rules for our people in Nimba, or let's say in rural Liberia. I think they are, for me personally, I believe that they are just showboating. They want to show off to the people that they are, they are against this, and they try to follow the crowd. When everyone's saying, "Oh, this is the bad thing," and every one of them starts saying the same thing. But you're right, though. I also believe that they are afraid to go to their own people. I know you talk about go meet the people, sit with them, and then have lecture them, have a conversation, let them express their concern to the people where they're supposed to meet them out of respect sake. They can't go there. The reason they're not going there is because they don't have the faces to bring those things forward. Also, I don't think they even believe that it can be stopped. They are in favor of I don't think they believe it can be stopped. That's why, for the sake of, okay, yeah, this person is doing the right thing, let's just play to the beat. When the Westerners say this, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll say this. No, they think it's a bad thing. Let's talk about it. But they can't go back. If you really want to, solve this problem, like you said, Mr. Johnny, is go back to Lofa, go back to the people in Bon County and sit with them. But they can't do it. They will not go there to do it because they're afraid to go there and go do it. So that's my take on that. I think we should we'll pivot a little bit.
But
Yeah.
I've your turn. I can help them organize it. I have all the qualities to help. Even if you're afraid not to go to the real player, I can help you organize it, provide the environment to go. But it's important to have this forum with them. They are the leaders of the people. They must be able to have this kind of forum and have this kind of conversation. I'm here. Let them hire me, give me some money. I can organize it for them. No free work now.
I know it's like good money. That ain't give some. That is good money. That ain't good money. But again, thanks for coming. Though we are really enjoying this. I can tell you, we have a lot of people who are following tonight, engaging. I think someone was even trying to call and be part of the program. So thank you so much. You're muted.
I was just about to ask you whether we should take in some calls because people wanted to make contribution to this particular issue before we go to the next one. So I don't know whether we should take few calls and then he can respond to that and we go to the
let's
next
do that. Let's take a few calls.
Okay, great. So if you are listening to us tonight and you want to make your contribution to the show, you can call us on +25079542897, and you will be able to make your contribution here tonight. Those of you who are listening to us via radio and also on WhatsApp, those of you who are also listening to us on Facebook, you can call us on +25079542897. and you will be able to make your contribution tonight to the show. We have this person on the line. Let's try to get this person again. Call us on +250-795-428-947. Mr. Fuma Toure is listening to us this evening. Fuma, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on here. This caller, good evening.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing very good. What's your name and where do you join us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from PA. My name is Fumba Toure.
Fuma, welcome. How is Philadelphia this evening?
You know, I love this cultural discussion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for the poorer society, for example,
Mm-hmm.
it's being practiced in large part of Africa, especially West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even Gambia, Senegal, Upper Guinea, Mali, you know, they all practice it. Ghana, the Wankara people. You see, and what I don't like, and I hate it to my core, when uncivilized people coming to us in Africa pretending that they are civilized more than us, we should abandon our culture. In Philadelphia here, every October, ask anybody, they get a butt naked parade, men and women on the street.
Yeah.
For God's sake. Who will imagine those kind of thing that it can happen? Born naked, men and women. When I say born naked, I don't mean they get pants or brief on. Born naked, the way you can be in the bathroom.
But they can put a pin on it though. They can put a pin to cover the private part and stuff.
No. Some of them can do it, but among them they get women open. Junior, this year, by the grace of God, I'm going to take a picture and a photo, a video clip it and send it to you.
You might invite him to come be part of the parade. Invite him back.
Private part, everything outside. Ask anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Ask anybody.
So you think you think because you
escorting them on the street.
Fuma, let me ask you this. You think we Liberians we are not protecting our culture?
Again?
Do you have any thought that we Liberians we are not protecting our culture? Because you mentioned Guinea, Malay.
Oh yeah. We are not protecting our culture at all. We like to listen to people. For, you know, it has much you not care. It has much you're not offending another person right.
Mm-hmm.
Your culture is your culture. But let me tell you, when I was a young man, my dad sent me 1976, I think so, to Zowenda from Campley.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Zowenda, Lower Bon County. And my first time to hear about the Poorer Society, in the moonlight, we were playing. And these people started coming. Mm-hmm. And I stood up. I did not know. You know, from the Geo belt, we don't practice it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't practice it. And I did not hear about I was very, very young. And these people, they wanted to arrest me. Believe me, the imam of the time at the time was the one that came and freed me from their hand. And the imam was part of the Poorer Society.
An imam?
No, yeah. The imam, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they said, I did not know. He said he's a stranger. And today, I regret that. I wish I could have the mindset to be part of it.
Okay.
You know, look, you know, we African, we are not self-confident enough. That's our problem.
Thank you.
That's our problem.
Thank you, Fuma. We Africans, we're not self-confident enough. Thank you. Fuma is from the Pan-African background, so he believes that we African we should do everything by ourselves. We shouldn't involve the Westerner into what we're doing. Mr. Johnny, do you want to say something to that before we go to the CEO? Then he can start asking all the hard questions from him.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with Fuma, and in fact, one of my cohort or my classmate when I wanted Pora was a Mandingo man in Lofa. when we went to the poro, one of my co-head, and oh man, stay in one. We won't see each other, we can be like, oh, Baba, are here, or, and we have our own relationship. But another thing also is that in the past, like maybe in the 1920s or 30s and 40s, or even the 50s, the tenure for poro was sometimes 7 years before the Western education got widespread in the country. So as the more the Western education came about, the more our elders agreed to reduce the tenure from 5 years to 7 years to 4 years. Now it's as short as 3 months. And they always plan that when the school is about to, they know the schedule when the school will be closing. So in the school year, in a regular year, those that got part to do, they're preparing themselves for the poro. That they know how many boys they got, if their brothers got children in Monrovia, they want to bring them, wherever they are, want to bring them. They're preparing for them. So that as soon as school closes, they take them there. Because they want to always be in compliance with the government rules and regulations. The guys will go there for the 3 months. And right now, we members of Pora, we believe that 3 months is not enough for proper education, proper training, proper knowledge sharing to bring them back to the community, to impact community. But again, because we want to always respect the government and be compliant with the system, we do that in 3 months and we graduate them. Now, when we have people who are overgrown and they are not students, we keep them there longer because they will be playing serious role to replace adults we have now in some of the roles that they are playing in the traditional setting, in the cultural practice. But for school giving children, we will graduate them earlier. But those like maybe like my age now, right? If I didn't jump or and are not in school, what they are doing, they will keep me there for a length of time, more than even 3 months, so that I can be able to learn more about society and come back and impact in a way that I can be a good person. So that's it. But I agree with Ture, former point. We need to find a way where we all can respect our system and hold on. And there's one rule in the poro, in the traditional setting. They don't blame stranger. So let's say if I took you, Gion, with me to Lofa, and we went in my town, I did not tell you the do's and don'ts, and you went into violation, you're not responsible. You are not responsible. I am responsible because I have the responsibility to let you know, oh, Gion, go to my home. In my home, when we get here, this row, you don't take it at women row here. This is the men row. This building that women house. You don't do this here. You don't use profanity here. I should tell you all the do's and don'ts. So if I didn't tell you and you violated, they will just say, who there? Oh, that Gion. Who? But Gion from here, which of the hall you in? Oh, Gion in Johnny in their house. Oh. Ah, okay, I go call Johnny. Oh, Johnny, who is Gion? Oh, Gion and my friend. I brought him to come visit my place. Ah, okay. Do you know that Gion have violated? No. Okay, this is what he did. So you are responsible. So Gion will not be punished. I will be punished for not giving Gion the proper briefing so that he can live within the laws of the community. So you see what Ture said, when the people caught him, the imam went there, and because Ture doesn't know what's going on, Ture not responsible. If Ture, whoever Ture went with there, and if that person is a member of the poro or the community situation, he will have briefed Ture. So that person will be caught and be dealt with for not doing the right thing by briefing Ture and putting him on his guard. So again, well, let's go on with the rest of the conversation.
Thank you. We could have an entire
Yeah,
conversation
a whole
around
show
this.
on this. We'll be
All
bringing
show on
a
its
whole
own
show.
topic, but you know what you're doing. I think since the government don't want to do this, we need to get around you people that have ideas on this, and then you can start to discuss this. Let the younger folks start to generate interest in it. You, Johnny, the time you were little, you used to have that kind of interest, praying for your time to reach so you can go in the senior society or the poor society. It's not like that these days. Many young people will say, oh, we don't care about this. We don't know. The reason why we say we don't care is because we don't know, we are not taught. And just imagine, people that are having kids in the 2000, 2000, born in 2000, look how it is. Nobody know the culture. Nobody know the tradition. Nobody know this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. So we all don't respect the culture again. I will put myself there. We all don't respect the tradition. So I think you have to take the initiative You guys have to take the initiative to start making some awareness on this, telling the young people the importance of this and all of that. I know we will come to the governance side and you will say something that back in the days, governance used to be this way. The way young people can engage issue nowadays, they don't used to engage it back in the days like that. We always respect our leaders. We don't go on the media to insult them. We don't do this. We don't do that. But we'll come to the governance issue and you can set all of those examples on that. But see you. Let's hear you and take us to the highest height, Chief.
Yeah, it's hard to go from this topic. I don't know what type of topic we have to even compare to this. I'm really enjoying it. I'm sitting here just laughing, and I've been allowing you to engage the conversation because it's very educational. I think, Johnny, this is very important for our society as a whole. People tend to overlook it. We need to respect our culture. For me, I'm a traditional person, and I respect our culture. Before I go to the topic we want to discuss here, which will be the Liberian budget, the budget I just passed. But so I'm younger than you. So in 1990, when we went to Nimba during the war, we went to Nimba. We spent some time there. So from 1990 to 2000, before I left from there, I came to the States. I grew up in my village there. I spent some time there. We played soccer, football there. We farmed. We did so many things. Even though we don't practice the poor society, but we have our own culture there. And the things that we were taught were completely different. There were several things, we never used to do all kinds of stuff. Sometimes when an older person talking, you can't speak back to the person. In fact, when you're in the house there with an elder speaking, sometimes we don't even look in the faces of our elders when they're speaking. We were raised the right way was correct. All my colleagues, my peers that we all grew up together there, completely different. Fast forward, when I started taking visits back to that place, when I went there, the kids that were born later on, when you get there, and I stand and watch them, the way they interact with people, I mean, completely different. So I would ask, I said, man, we were here back in the days, we never used to do this. And then you will see a young person that was born at 18, 17 years old, standing, insulting, going back and forth with someone that could born 2 or 3 times. So it changed. You can see that trajectory, that changes in tradition. You see the changes. And I blame that on those that come to Monrovia. They see people doing things in Monrovia. They all go back there and they start doing things without any regards to tradition. So it's something that we need to reinstill in our society if we want to keep our heritage, we want to respect Liberia, we want to have that. We are unique. Liberians are unique. Growing up in around the world in Ivory Coast and here, anywhere you go, you see a Liberian, a typical Liberian, even in the United States here. I don't care how that Liberian try to disguise himself or herself. When you see Liberian somewhere, you recognize that person is a Liberian because of our unique heritage, our accent, our Liberian accent, that colloquial, is special in entire Africa. Not many people can even try to learn our accent. Liberian, you carry Liberian to Ghana, Ivory Coast, wherever. The next thing you know, we will start speaking French and we'll start speaking to people tree. You bring a typical Ghanaian to Liberia, it will take them forever before they even learn our accent. Even if they try to learn it, it may not be as fluent as we speak. So we are unique and we need to keep our culture. Again, I want to say thanks for coming. So my question I have here, it has to do with the budget. You work with the Carter Center. You've been in community service for a long time, 15 years. It's not a small feast. You learn a lot. You experience a lot. So my general question I have for you is the budget that just passed. From your experience and your background, everything that you've done so far, and working in Liberia extensively, do you think this budget is the people center? Do you think it meets the needs of the common Liberian people from a holistic, a broader point of view?
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. I think the internet on my end wasn't good, but I tried to understand what you were saying because the phone you were breaking through. But I got the last part and look concerning the budget and based on my experience working across the length and breadth of Liberia. I mean, typically, my brother, I've been looking at the budgets for Liberia over the years. And from my experience working for international NGO, looking at working for people to benefit from their own resources, benefit from other countries' taxpayer money. I think our national budgets in the present, in the past, have never been in the best interest of Liberian people. I mean, from my experience now, I think all budgets from even the post-war Liberia now, from 2005 to now, they've never been about Liberian people. It's just been about those few people that are on the top there, the few, maybe 100 persons or so, or 200 persons that are ministers and people in the judiciary, people in the legislature, those top guys. And I think that why being about them. And that's the wrong thing for me. You know. The other time when our budget was announced at 1.2 billion and was a big news in Liberia, first time in history. And I told somebody it will be first time in history because it will not be static. It did been growing. Since post-war Liberia, been growing. Next year will grow to 1.3 or 1.4, 1.5 billion. So you always be celebrating. Yeah, that's good. But what are you celebrating? The tax collector is doing his best to raise the money. But the expenditure part of it, who's using the money? On who? For what? So I will tell you from the question you asked, the budget of Liberia does not serve the Liberian people in a very big portion. I mean, currently we hear that the budget is about what? 89 or 90% on recurrent expenditure.
Right.
Right? That what they
Right.
say. I'm not sure exactly. So
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around there.
Okay, let's come out with a simple example. Gion got a home, he and his family. His salary is $500. Gion making a project for the family. He decides that out of 500, 400 will be spent on him and his wife and the four children. And the four children will take $100. Does that make sense to Gion and his family?
No.
So that, I mean, that's how I just simply put the budget the way it's being crafted.
So you do. I don't know if you look at it line by line. What would be the biggest part that you say you would consider a waste or misappropriation in the budget if you were to look at it from the line by line standpoint?
But let's go for the legislature. The 103 persons.
Yeah.
Then we go to the executive per ministries, and what goes to the ministers from assistant minister to deputy minister and minister proper. Well, legislature that should be the one that should create a real check and balance and ensure that the national budget is people centered because they are the people's deputy. How much percent are they carrying for that budget? I understand they're carrying $51 million plus, right?
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know if they don't but they're carrying good chunk of that money. If you go back and compare our legislature to the Salonian Parliament, one thing about the people who don't understand Parliament and legislature, there are two different structures. We can use the Parliament for Liberian Parliament. We don't have Parliament in Liberia. We have legislature in Liberia, comprised of the lower house and the upper house. In Sierra Leone, we got Parliament there. Sierra Leone has 149 members of Parliament. We in Sierra Leone got about the same budget. Sierra Leone this year is 1.1 billion, little over that. We are 1.2 billion. Sierra Leone allocate $25,000 for vehicle for each member of Parliament for a term. Their term is 5 years. For us, our term is 6 years and 9 years. But we are allocating $45,000 for vehicle for our legislators for 3 years. Every 3 years, we purchase new vehicle for members of the legislature.
Is that 45,000?
Yes, $45,000 is what we allocate for vehicle. So if a person spends 9 years, that's 45 times 3. So in 9 years, the person will have 3 new vehicles. Look, 9 years of vehicles. I have a vehicle that I bought 2016, Honda CRV. Right? 2016, it's still with me. So I'm still using. And the car I used to go around, go Lofa for vacation, I go to Nima. If I just recently I was in Lofa with that same vehicle. But here, we spent $45,000 to get a vehicle for those in government. Even minister's car, some minister's car is above that. But our neighbor right here, Sierra Leone, is allocating 25,000 per member of parliament. And I think their income is somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000 around there. But the member of parliament income in Sierra Leone is less than our member of legislature here, right? So we just have the overview. If 80% or 85% of the money is spent on recurrent expenditure, so how can 15% or 10% or 20% help build the country? How, how does it sell the people? How much goes to education? How much go to health? The Maputo Accord says African countries should have minimum 10% of the budget for agriculture. If you can't feed your citizens, you can't feed your people. Then Gino or Avin, you got a family. If you can't feed your children, your family in the home, and someone else is feeding your children, you depending on someone to send food from China, from Asia, from Indonesia to feed people. Who are you? So our current budget is about 1% for agriculture. So alone has 5% of the current budget for agriculture. And that agricultural percentage is something that African leaders agree on. I think from the Maputo Accord to say yes, every African country should have a baseline of 10% of the national budget on agriculture because we all want to make Africa self-sufficient. So the question I asked Brother Avin, Sika, right?
Yeah, Sikar. The same way I struggle with your last name. Like, the same way you struggle with my last name.
Yeah, you know. So it's just difficult to have such budgets succeeding and being people centered. I would recommend to any government, let me 30% for government expenditure on themselves, and then 70% goes to the people in terms of health, education, agriculture, road infrastructure, water, supply of water, you understand? Energy, and then we have to expand revenue base by having funds in our in a bank that citizens who are doing business will come and take loan and invest and improve the private sector to the extent that they will be more vibrant and sustainable. If you expand the private sector, you'll be expanding your revenue intake. If you don't expand private sector, the few people you got are paying tax, you keep putting strain on them, and that'll be a problem. So
Thank you.
in short, to having the budget is not people center from the way I see it.
Yeah. And I share that. I share that view as well. Welcome back, Sam. We're in the middle here. So from I will ask the last question, then we can get to you. I don't know if you've been following. So you've been like involved in the community for a very long time, and then every year we hear about community development. The budget is community development center. We get all the excuses they will give when they push in their budget stuff there. But yet and still, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that Liberia, our communities in Liberia, lack anything when it comes to improvement or any impact from the budget. What do you think is the disconnect? Well, is it corruption or what do you think? What do you think happening? Because when they start pushing for it, they'll press community. They will not talk about a salary, but then when the budget passes, everything goes. Everybody kept quiet, and the community remain in idle, and the people start suffering. Where's the disconnect there?
I mean, what I would recommend is instead of having funds in the budget for legislative project, cancel all of that and push it in the county. Let's say, for example, currently they're giving every district 100,000 for legislative project, and then at the county level, the two senators again 150,000 per senator for legislative project in the county. So let's discuss NIMBA. NIMBA has how many electoral districts? I think 9, right? Or 11?
9. Yeah, 9. 9. Are you there? Okay, I think it's
I think we lost him there for a little bit. Again, folks, if you're just joining us here tonight, you are listening to the Heat Tower program, and we have with us Mr. Johnny KM Nimbi. I'm not sure I'm very correct with his last name, but we have Mr. Johnny here tonight. And Mr. Johnny is discussing a couple of issues, varieties of issue from the traditional side to national issue. Now we're discussing the budget and all of that. Mr. Johnny is here. Sam Saros Pali, the incoming senator of Nema County. You can't hide that from me again. Somebody sent me your screenshot today, and the person say you are close to signing the membership form of the CMC. They told me everything about you. So Sam,
the man call you your birthday?
No, Sam just let me know. Sam just send me a message.
I sent you a message though. I didn't.
He sent me a message in a group chat. Hey, Sam, that's not an issue. You can tie so
no, don't worry. I'll take care of you.
I know now. You know, you down there, man. What did you take care of?
Your package loading. We can't talk it on the show.
I know. I trust you. But Sam, welcome. We've been discussing a couple of issues, so let me just jump you on one of them, and then you can have your take on it while we stay with our guests to rejoin us. The issue of preserving our cultural heritage, and one of the discussion in the legislature and also in the media, people have been saying we should do this, we shouldn't do that. And what the lawmakers are saying is that we should get rid of some of our traditional practice. They spoke of the poor in the senior society. They say, now, this poor in the senior society, they interfere with the Western education. When I say Western education, it means our little school we can go to. They say, no, this thing interfere with that, and we don't want it to be done so. They go against the right of children, and we have to, get rid of that. We need to consider it as a harmful traditional practice. The aspect where the children will go there, they will mark them with razor blade and all of that. They say, no, we should consider that as a harmful traditional practice. They also talk about female genital mutilation, something like that. They say where they go to mutilate the females, those things should be considered as a harmful traditional practice. We don't need it in our society. Now, Mr. Johnny was here tonight. He said, no, what we need to do is let's sit with the traditional people. Let's sit with the community leaders and let's share ideas together. Let them give us their perspective, and then you can give us your perspective. And let's stop taking a Westerner's idea over our ideas. Their cultural practice is different. And he set an example on the Halloween celebration in the US and other Western countries. He said, Halloween is a tradition. You see how the people celebrate it. They have a specific time to celebrate it and all of that. So now, what say you on this discussion while we still with him?
For my call today, I know that me and my son can speak Mandingo. I got some Mandingo connection.
No, Fumara know. Fumara knows I'm a Muslim man. You don't know. Fumara knows I'm a Muslim man, so you just see me on the
screen. So Junior, it's one of those sensitive topics in our country, which when we are addressing it, we have to be careful how we're addressing. It could go both ways. If I were to give my opinion on this issue, as I have been asked to, Junior, I would think that I want to be careful here. I respect culture. I respect what our parents, our forefathers had done, and they continue to do. I also think that on the females side of the practice, it's a little tough for them, as we have exposed to Western civilization. I think.
So, Sam, are you saying it's tough from a Western perspective, or you saying it's tough?
Yes,
from
it's
a
tough
Liberian perspective, as a Liberian man, a Liberian elder who hear from Bay that know the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying it's tough?
That's why I'm taking my time. That's why I'm taking my time to properly choose my word. It's one of those topics you can't rush on it. If you rush too much, you can crush on this one. So
I will get in the time you appear in Liberia. Now you reach at the airport, they collect you from there.
Easy, man. Talk. We listening.
So let's go ahead. Just keep
so
on talking. I will give them the time in your picture that you appear in Liberia.
so I think that I want to dilute the conversation in a way that. So I think that from my perspective, when it comes to the way our world is evolving, life has changed or is changing dramatically. People things that our forefather did that was normal in our society is no longer normal to do. So what if I would make my recommendation, I would uh, make the recommendation for female to decide, to leave a room for the female side, so for them to decide whether they want to be part of it or they don't want to be part of it, instead of forcing them to go there. Because life had changed, things had changed. Some culture value has been decreased or decreases somehow. So, like the guy that was on the show, Johnny said, I think it's good to sit with them and educate them that we have come this is where we are as a country, and I think going this direction might not help us a lot now. So we want you guys to relinquish this setting part of the practice so that the country can move forward. We are evolving, life is evolving, and we need to make sure that we readjust ourselves to the way the society is evolving. That way, we will not have any. Johnny is back.
Johnny, welcome. Sam, we'll
Yes.
come back to you.
Sorry, man, my
Yeah,
internet
great.
dropped.
Okay, great. Now it's great to have you back. See, you can ask your question, and maybe we can go to Sam. That we take
I
leave
don't
of the
know
guests.
where we were saying.
The budget.
We're on a budget.
Yeah, and then we're talking about a disconnect between the budget, passing of budget, the money allocated to the community, and the community being at disadvantage of what is proposed for them in the budget.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I said the whole issue of county development budget or development fund should not have anything to do with legislatures or legislators. It should not have anything to do with them. Do the budget allocation. Like I make an example. They have 100,000 in the budget for a legislative project at the lower house level. So depending on how many electoral districts you have, how much money you have. So let's take Nima for example. Nima has 9 electoral districts. So 100,000 times 9, and that's 900,000. Then plus the 2 senatorial positions you have 150,000 each. So that 300,000 plus 900,000 for Nima County in the budget, on our legislative budget. So imagine, gentlemen, on the show, we will decide as a legislature for Nima County, we say no, don't put the money on a legislative project. And let money go to the county. So the superintendent, the commissioners, and the county council will use that for the development of Nima County, but then they will account to us as the caucus of the county. We serving as a board, in an example, as a board for the county. Then you put the county superintendent at work. You give the county superintendent resources to work. But if you will say, if that is not done, how now can the budget serve the people of Nima County in this case? Let us call Nima in a case study. So 300,000 plus 900,000, that's $1.2 million for Nima every year. Right? If that comes from the government, straight to Nima County budget and Nima County account. The superintendent and his or her county leadership are responsible to do the development work of Nima County. And let's let's see Nima County has social money from Asla Mita, I think $1 million or 1.2 billion, whatever they got from Nima County. If you add that to my proposed 1.2 from the national budget, it might be around $3 million to $4 million every year. You don't think the superintendent and the county leadership will be able to put that money into use, and it will even fast track the development in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, in terms of health, water, energy, right? You don't think that can fast track Nima County development effort? But if you put the budget on the legislature, they have a lot of influence on what should happen because they wanted to go, because then they were going in the district, and some people in that district to discuss what they want done in that district. They want hand pump, they want the other pump. Those things will not be anything better for the county. But if the county development office for the county does the development plan for the county, for example, because I want my background, I got a master's in regional planning, right? If you decide to look, our development office of the county will do the Nima County holistic development plan, roads, education, health, energy, water. Do a holistic plan in Nima County. Let's say the whole plan of Nima to big Nima County to be fully functional with all of these business services is up to $1 billion. And if we are sure that Nima County will get $1.2 million every year from the budget based on the way the budget is arranged, plus the 1.5 or whatever million that they got for Asla Mita annually. You don't think Nima as a corporate entity or Nima as a statutory entity can go to any of the banks in Morovia and take a loan of even 5 million or 200-300 million to invest it into Nima County development activity that will even grow Nima County economy to the extent that you will raise revenue and pay that money back to the bank? No, if our leaders are thinking about the people, this can be done easily. And I tell you, in 5, 10, 15 years, Liberia entirely will be transformed in so short period of time. But because our leaders, the people that we elect to be our representatives at the level of the Senate, level of the representative, level of the presidency, and those that we got are serving as ministers and things, they don't have us in their priority in terms of planning. That's why we are slowly building Liberia. Slowly. We are making progress, but it's very slow. And we can be, look, if we treat Liberia with urgency, and look, gentlemen, look, we have to move faster. Cote d'Ivoire is going ahead of us. Guinea going ahead of us. Southern going ahead of us. Ghana going ahead of us. We have to catch up with them. It's no time to play. Let's direct our phone into where we can get something. So what is wrong to pay one representative $3,000 every month? Why should they take $8,000 and give them a car? Then get them phone card. You get them gasoline. You get them all kind of benefits. Then to serve on committee again, you are paid for being on the committee. Gentlemen, isn't that corruption? Isn't that sustained corruption? Isn't that dignified corruption? You working, we pay you 8,000. We get you money for scratch car, for fuel. We get you car. Then we'll get you housing allowance. Then if you own a committee, the call you on a committee, on a statutory committee, then we get you money when you sit. So what is the job you're doing in the legislature that we pay you already every month? Then when you sit again in committee or whatever, we pay you for that. Why are we so cruel to our own people? I call that cruelty to our own people. But again, I'm sorry if somebody's feeling hurt for what I'm saying, but I'm just speaking.
Oh no,
like,
I'm saying, you don't have to. You don't have to be sorry. That's why the platform is called.
That is my opinion, my view on how I think we can grow Liberia in the very progressive way. I mean, in a real geometric progressive way, not arithmetic, but geometric progressive way. That in 5, 10 years, 15 years from now, all will be part of this country because what we do. But the way the budget is drafted, so can you measure the $1.2 million that Nima County receives indirectly to legislative project? Can you see the impact in Nima County? But let's go back. If Nima County receives $1.5 million every year from Asla Mita, look at Nima County today. Don't you look at that? Why should people be in Nima State drinking from well and creeks when you can receive $1.5 million from Asla Mita every year? People in Nima State drinking from creeks and well. I know you guys know that.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even 90% of people in Nima, I said, can I even ask say drinking water? And say drinking water is part of life. That's health. So if you have to protect our right under the Constitution to say our right to life, you must give us better health system to ensure that we have the right to life. So the right to life, one of the key elements is health. And health includes water, safe drinking water, that preventive medicine and curative medicine, curative health, preventive health, and curative health. So I mean, that just called Nima. I mean, for me, I'm happy that you got station in Nima following this conversation. I hope my presentation will bring about some level of enlightenment.
And
You know, in
people
it. Because
and
Nima
people
is part of
follow.
it's part of Liberia. I mean, if I gotta join Nima, I'll go work in Nima for the 19, 15 years and I will pay. I will live there. I want to live and enjoy my life in Nima. So we can live anywhere in Liberia and be happy in as much as our government is putting those things together that will give us better living conditions. So if Makane have been making $1.5 billion every year for Asamita on this agreement, go to Nima and see what is in Nima.
But
Does that represent
Mr. Johnny,
represent-
let me hold you there. You're talking about the 1.5, the revenue sharing law. The one that just have it says that 10% of the revenue from mineral generated from a county should be given to that county. So by right, the revenue, which I think the old NIMBA about why is that 10 million from the 200 million that was allocated?
20.
Yeah, 20 million. So we don't even have that. I think they even stopped talking about it. All the people that were talking about it, everybody kept quiet. The lawmakers, everyone that was speaking about it, everybody's going silent. We can't even get that. Then I mean, imagine what else. I think your point you made about they don't push they don't push the budget, they don't push the interest of the people because when they pass this budget, they follow it because they're all thinking about 6 years from now, they're all thinking about re-election. So they'll go back there, follow the money, and try to earmark project that will be something that will resemble what they recommended, water pump or hand pump or this. Then they'll say, okay, that John Doe project, yeah, he did this for us during this time. So in election time, kind of remember that. But yeah, I will start for you. We got Sam. I know he's been in and out. Sarah is very eager. He wants to ask questions. So Sarah, I will stop for now and then have you ask her 2 questions and then we can continue.
Thank you. Sarah, I beg you, let me ask this question, then we can move on. We've gotten to the political side now, so we need to get some things clear here. Mr. Johnny, what is your current relationship with this government? I'm asking from the background that you supported this administration fully. What is your relationship with the president?
politically we have no relationship because I have my own political affiliation. That's the Liberian National Union. That
Mhm.
has Dr. Carlos K. Monima, the standard bearer of currently the political leader. For the matter of fact, Lionel did not endorse the Unity Party during the second round of the 2023
But you
election.
did.
Me, I did.
Mhm.
We did not endorse any party. I mean, the election result clearly indicated that nobody needed endorsement. We didn't get a number to even endorse anybody that would support you, so I would care anyway. So what we decided, well, look, the two leaders, the two parties that are leading us now, the CDC and the UP, if anyone of them win, we are available to make our professional expertise available to serve Liberia. We don't need to endorse anybody. I mean, UP could win, CDC could win. And that's not what matters to us is Liberia. So whoever wins, we are here to bring our expertise to support the government and to ensure that Liberian people are served with better governance system. So I don't have a political affiliation with the government, but the president, by tradition, is my uncle because he's a Kisi man, and I'm from the Badi and the Loma background. So that's the only relationship I have with the government.
Great, thank you. Because we need to get some things straight here, and we start to fire you politically, then we will know who is firing. Thank you. Sam, welcome. Let's hear you, Chief.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's great to see you. Sorry, I've been a little busy here, jumping in and out of the show, but I've been following the click. Not too much, but it's okay. I have gotten what I was supposed to get. So let's get to before the cultural side that you guys discussed. Will address it a little bit here since it's a political time. Johnny, I listened to you. You outlined some things about the county development fund, which is a good thing. It's a good idea that you just put forward here. But Johnny, looking at our current situation, the governance situation in our country, excuse me if my word is a little bit rough, with rotting politicians, I refer to them, and it's the reason I say this is that because I think politicians are not working in the interest of our country. People put more money into their pockets instead of putting more money into the people pockets. So, do you think logically, do you think uh, democracy is really good for Liberia at this time?
I mean, my brother, democracy depends on how you see it. Because the way it's defined in this into its pure context, government by the people, for the people, and of the people. So if you expand that, yes, of course, democracy is good for Liberia. It's good for any society where you have participatory governance, participatory involvement, into how the state is governed. So I will agree for short, yes, democracy is good for Liberia. What make it bad for us is the individuals.
Okay. Well, so when something is good for something, then the people who are the pillow of that, if they are bad, then is this still good for us? Because yeah, on the paper, I think the contest is good, but the pillow, we are the pillow, we are the one who implementing the democracy in Liberia. So if the pushers are the bad, rotten people, so is it still good? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Uh, uh, let's say the two of you have this show. I'm sure the show has guidelines, regulations, and policy. You guys all agree to do. So, in as much as you guys are following the policy and guideline on this show, it will always be good. And whenever you notice a pitfall, you will work to improve it and make it better. Keep cleaning it up, making it better, more attractive, more supportive, and everything else. So when you move from there and bring me there, I come, I read the policy, but I have my own agenda, and I begin to do what I want to do. Is your system ugly or is good?
You asking me?
Yes, Sam.
Oh well. Um. So depending on where you met, whether the system is ugly or is good, it depends where you met in a system. Does that
So the
make
thing is,
sense?
the thing is, brother Slow. Any system is good. It depends on those who are acting in the system and how they perform. Look, democracy is good. If we are sincere about democracy in Liberia, where we look at the participatory aspect,
So
and
so let's say this way. Let me put it this way. With the because with Liberia election now, um, is no one political party can win voting in Liberia without collaboration.
mhm,
Okay.
yeah,
I said this because we are seeing over time for the past few years, we people have collaborated before they win the elections.
yeah.
So if people who have had these bad governance idea, and then you have the in your mind you haven't governed before, but you really want to have you want to govern Liberia in a way that it will be better for the people. But still, now you have to bring these folks who have had the opportunity to destroy Liberia, and you have to bring them on board in order for you to win election. How fair will you be able to govern Liberia with all these people interfering?
Okay, let me make a scenario of the so-called the football game. I'm a fan of Man United. Previously, Man United have a
Yeah,
very bad.
good job. Good. You are the fan of best in the World Basketball Club.
So let's go to Man United. I mean, we saw Man United struggling all along the line, and you change. Why are we always changing manager? We don't change players, right? All the clubs, all soccer clubs, even the basketball team. Why do they change managers? They don't always change the player, but they change managers.
Well, we do change. We trade in. Players. We trade
Yeah, I
some
know,
players.
but I know we trade players, but I mean, let's be sincere. Most time we concern about the managers. When we're losing games, managers take the breading. We almost put like 90% of the breading on the managers, and we
Yeah,
call for managers to be changed, right?
the leaders.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So let's come back to democracy. The team is good. The team got players. It depends on how you coordinate them, how you deploy them, how you deal with them, and how you get into tactics, and how you manage them, how you motivate them. So let's come back to governance, democracy, right? Very good system in theory. I'm sure the only pitfall for democracy is sometimes we let bad leader because of the citizens' understanding of what democracy is or governance is, right? Even if you go back to our traditional setting, let's go back to our setting. It's also democracy, not because they were not having election. Their leadership was all about serving the community. In the village, no one child belonged to one person, that child belonged to everybody. So if I'm in town and if I'm in the village and I see the child doing the wrong thing that is not good for the community, I'm not going to say because I'm not my child, I'm not going to discipline, I'm not stop him. And the community agree that every adult, every parent is responsible to discipline or chastise the child that's doing the wrong thing. And the leadership of the community is responsible to ensure that the community is safe. If the general road that we all use to go to the water side to get water is getting bushy, the elders or the chief will instruct the young people to go and clear the road for everybody to have safe road. You
So,
understand?
so
So let's come at democracy is good. Right now, for example, President Boakai is the president. Who takes the blame for what's happening in the country? It's the president, right?
yes.
So he takes the blame. Everything he takes the blame. So he must understand that he's running a democratic government. The people's interest must be the priority as the president. So everything you do must be people centered in line with the democratic tenets that we all believe in. But if you don't do that, you allow other people to come and manipulate you, and you do things that are not in line with democratic tenets, especially coming in the interest of the people and violating constitutional provisions because of political, expediency, you take the burden. Democracy tell you that you should violate constitutional law, but because you have the power as a president for a country, you can decide I will not accept this law, I will not do this thing. Because you have the country in your hand and you have the power to change things the way you want to turn it. But if you sincerely and honestly believe in democratic tenets and you take it over the country will benefit. So democracy is not a bad practice. But individuals in the system are the one who made democracy ugly. But look around us. Some people are practicing democracy on the continent to some level, and they are making progress. They are making progress. They also have challenges there. I'm not saying they don't have challenges. They have challenges, but they're making progress. Let's compare Liberia and Ghana. Is Ghana practicing democracy? Sam,
Huh?
is Ghana practicing democracy? Ghana.
Yeah, I think so.
So why and they see democracy in Liberia, right?
yeah.
Yeah, democracies, yeah.
So so why are we having difference in our governance
So,
system in our
okay,
serving the people?
so for that, I will answer that though. Um, Before Ghana get to the stage Ghana in right now, Ghana was not really a democratic state. It was more uh, under the military rule, which were Jerry Rawlings. He decides that there are some things needs to be done for the country to be able to be a vibrant country. So after he had put in things into place and measurements and a lot of measures into place, um, his departure and other people that came there now, at least they are building on that foundation now. But for us, it's different. Um, we have no good foundation in Liberia. Maybe somebody could disagree with me. Starting even going back from the 1847, the freedom seeker who came to Liberia, they didn't lay a good foundation for the country. Um, First of all, they came from a country where every road, every building here has number on it. They came, they built something. They didn't numbers them. There's nothing. So the country is just upside down to me. That's my opinion. And I see it as a rude society. And it's continuing today. So the reason I ask that question is who could really change that mentality that Liberia can be a better country? Even before the war, Liberia has have these challenges. And now from the war, after the war, let me say that way, we still continuing with the power. So it's just upside down. That's why I was asking whether is democracy really good for Liberia at this point of our time. So
What we need for Liberia, we need an ethical leadership for Liberia. Ethical leadership.
expanding a little bit.
So a leadership that is concerned about its people, that will be about transparency, accountability, and more participatory, compassionate government, compassionate leadership. That's why I can start. But I mean, we can talk more about the ethical leadership is important. So if you're ethical, you want to set standard that you got to live by. You set a standard, you got to live by that as a president, as a leader. When you follow those standards that you set, your follower will follow your standard. If you tell people that we don't want this, and this is why I want to run my government, let's say, for example, let's come out to the budget. A President Barker draft budget is going to legislature has indicated that 70% will go towards the people, and it didn't include any budget for legislative projects or anything that will do with increasing salary for legislators. Look at the speaker right now. There, the speaker budget, office budget for entertainment is $500,000.
So entertainment refer to what? Jolly
Right
Jolly?
now, like you now, if you can't visit him, you go for some dinner or break. Whatever you spend on entertainment, right? 500,000 is allocated in the budget for the speaker office for entertainment. Should we be doing that to ourselves, to our people in the kind of manner when people are saying drinking from open water, open wells, and creeks in the country? When children go to school, their classroom, look right in Sokopa. When you cross the St. John River, Sokopa, I was there last year for a work. I want to go do some work there. And I started to tour the school that was built in, I think 2010 or 2013 by government, elementary school in Sokopa. If you got anybody in Nima, we can let them go to Sokopa and do photograph of the classroom and share with you guys. Right in Sokopa on the main road. I say, where is that in the bush on the main road, Sokopa? Go to the school, go look at the classroom. No sitting capacity. The children are clustered up like sardine in the classroom. And you're giving a speaker office $500,000 for entertainment. Does that work? Isn't that destruction?
So Johnny, this is where I was
Is
coming
that
from.
ethical?
I think he's stick though. Johnny, so this is where I was coming from. CEO, sorry, this is my last stuff. This is where I was coming from with whether democracy is good for us. Because, Johnny, I never see a country, like a small country, where ratting politicians, a so-called
You got vice president for Nima. They say running politician.
So-called lawmakers will be making thousands of dollars, where military will be making nothing, police will be making nothing, nurses nothing,
Teachers and nurses.
nothing. So again, when I sit down and think about Liberia, and it always what comes to mind is democratic governance is not good for Liberia as we move forward. Even I'm told that you are one of the partisans or one of the officials in the declaring party. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
So quickly here, so I turn to my other CEO and engineer. With everything that Liberia is going through now, we got all these bunch of parties, everything coming up. what would Dr. Clarin Monenberg do different than this sweet word that we are heard for years? Then all these good presentations on paper, Liberian men say paper, on paper.
Well, you're jumping ahead of our question in there. So that's
I'm
our
sorry,
topic.
G.
So if you get no topic to discuss, just say my question finished. But don't jump ahead of our thing.
I don't know what you. I don't
So
know whether.
let me ask you, Cyrus.
Okay, I will leave. I will leave it here.
When you say ratting politicians, are you referring to all politicians in Liberia across the board, including the ones that you just said you have been supporting, or the ones that you held to high esteem, or a selective?
When I use the word ratting politician, I refer to people who are just taking money and they're not looking after the citizen of the country. If one falls in that group, yes, then
do you care to call us a name? Say you want us to turn it in that.
Wait, and then Johnny, please, 1 second. So, do you know of any politician? Do you have a certain group of politicians in Liberia that you believe are doing well, are trying, are striving?
It is difficult for me to say this person is trying and this person is not trying, because I mean, overall, CEO, on a serious note, I look at the average. Who is performing? Who is not performing?
This person is trying. The number is wrong. I don't know. You said color number right there.
Sorry, Sam. Let's hold you that. Really?
Mr. Gonglo.
Mr. Kirabo Gonglo. Good evening.
I like to call.
Hello.
I like to call.
Mr. Gonglo, are you there?
Yes, am I live?
You are live, Mr. Gonglo. Good evening. Welcome.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know Sam was talking. Sam, I'm very sorry. But
It's
I really
okay.
want to speak on your logic to just extend it further. And if Johnny can make a comment on that. There are other people who believe that if you look at the political history of Ghana, Nigeria, other our neighboring countries that will believe they are relatively doing better in development, meaning that in areas of education, health, and other aspects, even infrastructure development, they went through different stages of military coup d'etat. And there are other scholars who have argued and with evidence that today Ghana, the foundation of Ghana development was laid under the Rawlings administration. And from Rawlings on, democracy started to strengthen in Ghana, and they are just excelling. So Liberia had one experience with military coup d'etat, and many Liberians, including myself, will say, "Hey, we don't want military coup anymore." But under our system,
did you say one?
Of democracy,
are you saying one military coup d'etat? Are you saying one military coup d'etat?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. You said Liberia have gone through one military coup d'etat. I just wanted to make a clarity there. Are you saying one military coup d'etat, or have been some other coup d'etat before?
Oh no, it was just Summer Kayado. That was a successful one. Okay. So we have one military leadership. That's what I actually meant to say.
Okay.
One military leadership, right?
Yeah.
So others say, hey, there are others who argue, including me, that if we were to juxtapose the infrastructure development and other progress made under the Doe administration, and mirror that with what has taken place under post-war democratic system in Liberia from 2006 to present, maybe Doe made more development in Liberia than the democratically elected leaders, right? So where people, like Sam was saying, there are so many corrupt leaders who get elected. So if you go through election and someone is saying has no chance because he doesn't have the money that the others have, there's no level playing field now in the democracy. So there are others who argue now that we need one more military leadership to intervene in the process to create a level playing field.
So let me ask you a hypothetical question.
But I wanted Johnny to pick Johnny's thought on that.
Okay, let me ask you a hypothetical question. Will you support any military leadership in Liberia?
I can say that I'm not opposed
to military coup d'etat necessarily, but if you are going to be a military leader like Cabin, like the late Thomas Sankara or Traore, Ibrahim Traore, if you're going to be a military leader like that, then obviously I'm not going to be opposed to you. If you're going to be a military leader like Jerry Rawlings, obviously I'm not going to be opposed to you. If you're going to be a military leader like the late Mohammed Murtala of Nigeria, then I'm not going to be opposed to you. You know,
Like
so
Paul
I
Kagame
mean,
or
that's how I
Rwanda.
will answer you.
I wanted to give you one name there, Paul Kagame of Rwanda. He took over through military coup d'etat, but he has actually improved the country. So thank you, Mr.
I got
Clever.
I got a different view on that. On uh, on what Mr. Gongo saying, what Sam is also pushing. So I don't think Liberia's problem will be solved by that with necessarily a military coup d'etat. I don't think that's our problem. The problem that we face as
Mm-hmm.
Liberians is societal base, the people, the mindset, the Liberian mentality, right? So, as Mr. Gonglo rightly said, that we had Samuel Kanyando that came, right? We tried it before. He came, he did that. So, what went wrong? It was the same Liberians that fooled him, gave him wrong advice, and we went to where we went. So, why do you think a different person will come over and do a coup d'etat and then not result into the same thing? And let me give you an example. You know, my son, when this people used to say before, I think Cyrus can also confirm this. Before the quote unquote indigenous sons started taking over Liberia government, the house, the both houses and stuff, it used to be, you know, they say Congo people, the people doing this, the people doing that, the people doing that. The people that are treating our people, do you know, all the stuff, right? Guess what happened? Look in the house there and see how many people we have there, who all we have representing Liberia now. Look at Liberia, the leadership from the top all the way to the bottom, from presidency to local leaders for the past, I don't know, 12 years or 18 years or so. See how many people we have there or who we have representing us. The people who have there, they are the Gonkanos, they are the Seeds, they are the people, they are the same people who are representing us and corrupting the system, right? So who are you going to bring in to do the quote unquote military changes? It will be the same person. So bringing another CEO, bringing another, you know, different person from different part of the country to come and take over militarily will not solve the problem. Our problem is ourself. Liberia's problem is Liberian himself. Until we can face it face up and try to address it, it will not be changed. Terry Rowland did that because he has love for his country, because he made that sacrifice for the country. All the names that he called, all those people made the sacrifices for their country because the love they have for their country. Until we can have a real leader who has genuine love for the country, I don't think that the type of leadership or the way in which you come to power would make any changes. If you bring a man as a military leader, what do you think the man is going to do based on our history? It might even be worse than what we have now. And then military men are nothing. You can tell him he controls everything. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. I think that's even more riskier than what we have now. So I don't support that. I disagree with that. I think we are not where we're supposed to be. We are struggling when it comes to corruption. It's ingrained within the society, the fabric of the society. Until we change, we to start to teach civics in school, we start to teach our children, you know, the love for country. We to try to change the mindset and try to bring equality to the society where you have middle class. In Liberia, there's no middle class. You're either up there or you're at the bottom where you can't afford $1 to live. Until we can bring that to the people and change the mindset over the next few years or generation, I don't care what style of leadership you bring in, who you bring in, is not going to help at all. So I have a different view on that. I understand where they're coming from with it, but I don't think that's the solution to Liberia's problem. If we had not tried before, they will say yes. I think when we try it will work, but we tried it before, and when we tried, it was so happy. It led to a civil war that people died like chicken. Why? Because the leader that took over decided to do his own thing and started, misusing power, even though he did development. But guess what? He messed everything up. So how sure are we that the next person that will come will be even better than? So I prefer our fragile democracy. I prefer what we have. We go in there, we talk, we hold our leaders to their feet to the fire. After 6 years, if they don't perform, we take them from there. We try new ones. If we don't do that, things will change.
Uh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Sam, let all our attack you you coming. Because the thing you say here tonight, let
Oh,
us support you.
what did I say?
Yes. So let me and the CEO come for you first, then you can come in with your reporter. Now I agree with the CEO 100%. I default with Mr. Sam, Mr. Kilebo.
What did I
I
say
know
though?
I know the point they are coming from. Sam, I'm coming to you. Given the history of other country, we all know that military is where people are instilled with patriotism. Citizen, they believe that patriotism is the way forward. So they want to live on that principle that patriotism is the way forward. So when they take over leadership position, Mr. Johnny is here. So let's stop here and maybe we can get the conclusion from Mr. Johnny and then we can stay here to discuss the issue. Johnny, welcome back to the show. I know your network is giving some problem and it's a bit late in Liberia now. We need to take leave of you. But before you go, I want to ask you this question. Nowadays, the way the political trend is in Liberia, young people are heavily involved into politics, which is normal. But the manner in which we approach politics, we young people, how do you term it to be in your days in the 80s into the current democracy, and how will you rate this administration as compared to the George Weah-led administration?
Politics. So, I mean, in the 80s, I was young,
Mhm.
So, but I used to be interested in politics. When I'm listening to the radio, one thing my mother did for me was that she made me train to listen to radio in the morning. So
Okay.
if I can remember 1980, 1985 coup. Before the day
Mhm.
could end, I memorize my whole speech. I could say, in fact, I memorized the speech. I memorized in the way that I try to speak in his tone. 1985, and I was almost killed on that day as a young man, innocent. The story too long. I can't put it here. So let me just step back. In the 80s, the way it was in the 80s, the kind of energy now the young people have, about politics is right now is more active than in the past than in the 80s because we didn't
Will
have
you
much.
will you
We didn't,
compare the active being positive active or negative active?
well, you see, when you say positive active, negative active, yeah, I would say all are positive active, positive because it's like they have people that were guiding the young people then. For example,
Yeah, we actually need to take leave of our guests because you
That
know
man is styling, man.
yeah, the way the guy he having some network issue now. I think we gotta take leave of him. But you see, he's speaking the facts here tonight. You know, I
opening
actually
of
thought I was going to be one of our Nima politicians. Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnny. Welcome.
yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. The internet is so bad today on my end. Normally it's
Yeah,
not like
let's
that.
let's get your take on this, and we can get your parting comment.
Yeah, I hope we'll have come back here to talk more about this. But I mean,
Mhm.
frankly speaking, politics will be progressing. It will always progress. The way it was in the 80s, we don't expect to be the way it will be today in today's new dispensation. It will always progress, right? Always go. But in the 80s, we didn't have many political parties. In the 80s, we had like what? In fact, no party at that rate, and no party up to 1985 when we had the NDPL, then we have LAP, then we have UP, YS, LUP, Guerrero Pole. And even though I was young, I was not very active in politics. I was young, and in the 80s, 85, I was young. So I didn't
Then
have
we got
much.
Liberian Action Party.
Yeah, Liberal Action Party, LUP, NDPL. and then UP, Arabian Kesali. And then those are the 4 or 5 parties we had in 1985. And then back up Murphy, they have party too, right? UPP. Then we had LPP too. Okay. So we have about 7 or 8 parties. But by then, those party leaders were much more politically mature. They were already of age. They knew what they wanted and things. Because Kodak was an older man. Barker Murphy was also not very young anymore. Tipote was not very young anymore. Jackson F. Doe was an old man too. He was not a young man. Like today, we got most political parties now are led by people in young, very youthful age. So they were mature to understand and hold on things and knew how to approach issues when it comes to national politics and other issues. Today we have almost 30 parties in the country, which is good because then, like our colleagues will always say, they fought for multi-party democracy in this country. So it's a plus that today we have 30 or more parties. And now I'm hearing that people are holding meetings in the background now to see how they can narrow it down to 5 or 6 parties whatsoever. But all of that is part of the beauty of democracy. We keep having new party. Today we had a new party program, PAP, right? And Sir Joseph Party today had a program. So before 2029, we expect to see more new party being formed. Now today we have CMC. You understand? So so we keep having more parties, more parties. So maybe by 2029, we may have 50 parties in Liberia. And maybe every town or every clan or every family will have their own party.
You're sounding sarcastic. Oh.
No, I mean, but they will see it happening, my brother. They will see it happening. They will see it happening. How we start projecting? Because we got parties now being formed based on all kind of ideology. You know what I'm saying? But that's why it is. That's my opinion. That's my observation. I see now the parties of the 80s and parties of the 21st century, they are not the same in terms of the number of parties we got now. And that's part of the program because when people struggle in the 70s and 60s, 70s for multi-party democracy, that's the result we got today. So we're carrying on. So that's what I can say about the politics of today and the politics
Thank
of
you,
yesterday.
Mrs. Johnny. We would love to have a lengthy and long conversation with you, but we know you're a busy man and then your network currently in Liberia. So in 2 to 3 minutes, give us your parting comment. Maybe there is something we didn't talk about, you want to talk about it, or there is some kind of information you want to convey out there to the Liberian people. But we appreciate you being here tonight and we invite you
So
especially for this cultural discussion. I find interest in it, and a lot of listeners tonight, I can tell you for sure, they find interest in it. The way it is being portrayed to our young people going to school, the way they are told about the cultural things and all of that, people don't understand the pros and cons about it. They only understand the harmful side and understand the benefit of it. But you being here tonight, shining some light on it and all of that, we have to invite you here once again so that we can just dive into this conversation where people will call to make their input, to ask you all of the questions and why this is important in our society. I've spoken to many representatives, like I told you, some of them, their major concern have been the female genital mutilation. They said it's bad that you will go to quote unquote remove female private part, so they don't want it. It's bad, it's harmful, it's not good. They got a different perspective about it. Some of the things they said to me, I cannot say here on this platform. A very different and wide perspective about it, the issue. But I think it is about time our fathers, our traditional leaders try to take on the media because the media is the best place now to convey the information where you will come to inform the people why this is important, why we've been practicing it for all those years, and why do we still need it in our society till now. But again, I want to say thank you for being here tonight. It's been a wonderful conversation with you. Hope to have you here one of these days again. In 3 minutes, give us a parting comment, Chief.
So thank you very much, and let me appreciate my brother Kerebo, who linked me with you guys. I'm happy to see him here, and thank you guys also for taking your time to have this platform available. These are all part of the democracy we are experiencing today. In the 80s, we didn't have this kind of platform to discuss what we are discussing today, or even in the 70s. So these are the positive aspect of today's democracy in Liberia. I would just like to close by saying we need to look for our best minds, our best brains to build this country. We need to forget about this much of political affiliation. Once you win an election, it's time to serve. And by serving, you need to look for the best people you have that God has given you in your country to help serve and do the best. I know people say political reward is not in heaven. Yeah, but if you're not qualified, we cannot make you a leader, and you cannot play a part that doesn't fit your qualification. And that's the error I see in the system. People in position don't even understand what they should be doing. You know. So my appeal is to build this country, we need to divorce ourselves from this extreme political affiliation that almost tend to be hate. You know, I have an example when I'm saying some things that I see as positive from Professor Weir days, then all those in the UP start see me as supporter of CDC. And same thing when I'm saying something about that are positive about the new government, about the UP, then the CDC guys see me as enemy to CDC. So it's always and that's a bad practice for us. We have to identify the good side first of people. We have to identify the foundation that was laid by other governments so that we can sit on it and improve. Government is continuity, right? It doesn't mean because government is continuity. So, like this government, it came to power, I was so shocked. Everything they say about the past government is negative. People bring the country down. The country is there. The country. I'm not you people. I'm not a supporter of CDC, but I don't believe that everything CDC did was wrong. I don't believe that CDC did nothing good in this country. I don't believe it because I see what's happening around. They may have done some difficult, some wrong things, something that was easier for them to do. They didn't do it on time and in time. But I cannot sit there as a Liberian man that have been in the country for the last, say I've been born and living in this country all my life, and say, oh, this government didn't do anything better. Everybody has done their best. You have taken over the power, remove this person and brought you there. Do your best. Don't waste time talking about this man, they don't do this, they don't do that, they don't do that. Come and talk, show all your juice. Tell us what you are worth of doing for Liberian people. If we keep wasting time talking about what happened in the past regime, you are wasting your own time. Wasting your own time. So we're not in about taking credit. Oh, I did this. No. Serve the people of Liberia. We need to address the issue of education, the issue of health, the issue of road connectivity, the issue of energy, the issue of water supply, safe drinking water. So what the people concerned. They're not worried about who did or who didn't do what. Come do your part. You got 6 years. Change the dynamic for us. So thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm sorry we didn't have good conversation in the last minute because my internet kept going on and off. But I hope in the future I will have a better internet service here, and then we can have a lengthy conversation. So thank you. God bless us. And in the words of the old man Payman from Campley, he said, God for everybody. I learned that from him. He said, God is for everybody, my son. Don't be afraid. God is for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
You
you
did
so much.
extremely well. I want to say thank you so much for coming, and thanks to Mr. Gongo too for connecting us with you. We really appreciate that. We look forward to hosting you again soon.
Thank you. Great. So we now stay here now.
Yeah.
I listen to. Okay, see, let me give you the chance. Before
No, I'm gonna say I think Mr. Gongo came because of his point he made there, and he and Cyrus, yeah, I think they are on the same side there. So we wanted to hear you. You want to say something to Cyrus, right?
Cyrus was talking when Johnny came by, so that's Cyrus. Yeah. Johnny even gave Cyrus hand to talk.
I said they are two buddies, though.
Oh no! I'm now on the show regularly. I'm interested in those kinds of debates for me.
I listen to the gentleman. He speaks well. I want to tell him thank you for being on the show. He's one of the guests that we host and really analyze something from a fair point, not really a political standpoint. Yes, I think I heard some truth from in his voice. So again, I seen this question and listen. I understand it's tough to discuss some sensitive issue. But I think that our country is at a crossroad. Um, we where we are now as a country. Every time I say that, it just I think about Liberia. I get a little bit concerned, and how did we get here? Look at, with no disrespect to anybody, when people get into government, they steal. No matter how they get money, whether they steal, whether they just get a bunch of money, whether with their salary, by the time you go look, they will open political party.
Sam, I beg you, let me the conversation sweet and interactive. The first one you say, let's deal with you first, and you will come back. I know you got something to say about our guests. You got lay observation.
No, I've been
No.
with him long time though. I'm on
Okay,
my
great.
way
So
now.
let we deal with you. Then you can come on now with your thought. I know you and Mr. Clevo, I have a different perspective about you guys. And the part you said from the days of those who came to Liberia, they never set up a system. I default with you on that. I don't think that is true. As a student of history, we've learned that Liberia was the pillow of Africa. We did all we can in our weak ways to liberate other African countries. Our passport was one of the greatest passport in the world, not only in Africa. Our passport served as a gateway to go to other countries. The country called Barbados, I don't know if you know about that.
Mm-hmm.
We helped greatly. Historically, we helped them. The Barbadians that came to Liberia, we helped build Barbados, as history says. So if you say, Liberia from the day our ancestor came back, we've not set up any system, I default with you on that because Liberia was a site of ventures. Liberia was a site of tourism. Liberia was a site for vacation during those days, and you know about that. And where I want to agree with you is that from 1980, I don't know when it was William Howard Tubman or William V.S. Tubman, the coup d'etat, there where Liberia began to get terrible. Liberia began to get terrible from the point where we say we needed multi-party system. There where Liberia started becoming terrible. We didn't understand what multi-party system was. All we thought was, we needed inclusion. And the inclusion today, that's the result we see in the legislature. That's the result we see in the Senate. That's the result we see in becoming president. I don't know if you agree with me on this, but if we had only two-party system, where one will go and they will tell you no because of your background, you are ex-convict, you cannot be on our party, and they reject you, you will not go there. It might seem like an injustice to you, but to them, they are saving the party, they are saving the Liberian people. But you know what happened now in the multi-party system? You got folks who participated in the war. They are proud to say, yes, I fought the war. I confess to my sin. So therefore, I owe nobody any other thing. And they are free. These people that looted Liberia, I'm sorry to say, they looted the country and they are using that money. Say no lawmaker in Liberia supposed to pay 500,000 horse. Not even in the next 10 years that you work in Liberia. Your salary will not show that. Your benefit will not show that you make that money in the next 10 years. But you know why? The LACC not working. They don't go after those people. Some of these politicians, they will take their money, they put in one labor hand are doing business. They will say, do the business where you be paying me. But LACC not going to investigate these people. An ordinary citizen who is selling in Liberia, that person building mansions across the country, nobody going after them. They say, yeah, I made a businessman. How much are you making? First, let's go to the tax you paying to the government. That's our issue. So if you say Liberia back in the days, from the days of J.J. Robert up to present, we've not set up a system. The system was there. We, the indigenous Liberian, we say, no, we can't have, the Negro descent come here and then they start taking over our land. We need to do something for ourselves. We brought the great general himself. Though, what happened? From that point onward, the country has been in chaos. I will say that. If it's not political chaos, then it's economic chaos. If it's not economic chaos, the Civil War has passed already. If it's not that, it's poverty. If it's not poverty, everybody's suffering.
I think
You know
Gian, you are
something?
participating now, and I think you're going out of you are
No,
raising all of polemic issues now.
I
So some
just
of
I just wanted to lay it, I just wanted to lay it busy.
some
And here is where I default with you.
but
You
the
see,
foundation is you are laying a false foundation now. For example, the argument, the counter argument to saying that, about not having system. Your argument that the native people came, they said they're not this and where are we? I mean, you are trying to telescope competing ideas into one, and I think it can
no,
be.
I'm
It can
saying we had the system. Some is generalizing that we don't
be hard.
we
What
didn't.
system did you have? You did not have system. What
No, we
system did
had
you
the system. We
have?
have a system. Let me tell you today. Let me tell you for free. Our passport was not given to ordinary people
But
before.
passport is not. You talking about national government passport? How many Liberians are getting passport?
That's what I'm telling you. Our
Your father,
system was set up.
your father did not even have the chance to have passport.
Why?
Because maybe you don't understand. Citizenship in Liberia was, in fact, to become a citizen and have a voting right, it was tied to property ownership. If you follow the history of the soil for mayor election in 1979, one of the reasons why they could not have, one of the reasons why there was tension in that election, and they never had that mayor election, was because soil then were arguing, were challenging the property ownership clause. Because if you don't own property, you can't vote.
No, I
But
think because maybe you and maybe I'm getting it wrong here. I'm
don't
not saying
just
I'm right.
but don't just lump the whole idea of
No,
system together and say,
I'm saying we have system, but where you saying property ownership was the baseline of voting, I'm not saying I'm right, but what I learned is that before you take on any other administrative role or position to be a head, you must have a property. That's what I know. But as an ordinary citizen, you are allowed to participate to vote, but not to be the leader. For example, you cannot be the city mayor of a city when you do not have a property in that city. That's what I know about. And that was the policy that the people were basing on that time. But now, take for example, how many outside, I will give you a typical example when I was in Cyprus. So let me give you a typical example. When I was in Cyprus, I know folks who came from Ghana, from Nigeria, because they were ex-con in our country. They were not allowed to get passport in our country. They came to Liberia, they got the Liberian passport, and they traveled to Cyprus on that Liberian passport. Several times when they commit any other issue, and these guys are the drug dealers. When they do any other thing, they will say the Liberian community in Cyprus, the Liberian community in Cyprus, the Liberian community in Cyprus, knowing fully well that the Liberian student there, they are not even brave enough to do that. So the system was there. In my opinion, we had a system. That's where we had the Ducal Palace today, the Hotel Africa today. The system was there, and these buildings were built because of those systems. The Barbados that we helped, it was because of the system that we have. Even the Ghana that we helped, it was because of the system. Ghanaians used to come to Liberia to buy goods to carry to Ghana. It was because of the system. So if you say there were no
Yeah.
system, I would default with
I
you.
don't think
Okay,
I
so
don't think
let me
and you just waddle into this misconception,
let-
misinformation. I mean, these are
So
historical facts, and you're trying to
let-
lump them as you're trying to present them as postulated as a statement of fact. No, it's not. They are not. They are not. Because first of all, when you're talking about system here, Gian, let's take our time and dissect this little by little. From
okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Now,
1847, from 1847 to
okay, let me be asking you the question small, then we go on. Let's start with the
well, you give
system.
me away now.
So first of all, before you ask question, let me just correct some of the last statement you made. You see,
Mm-hmm.
passport scandal is corruption. So you don't
Yes.
link corruption to the issue of the occurrence of corruption in one administration. Then you say, oh, because
So,
there's no
what brings about corruption?
there was so much corruption in the TWP government. In fact,
What brings about corruption?
they were the kings of corruption, right?
What brings
Argue that
about corruption?
right? It's
What
lack
brings
of,
about
lack
corruption?
of governance. It's lack of governance.
Failed
Governance
system, right?
is a whole process. It's a whole
Failed
process.
system.
So,
Failed
yeah,
system, right?
if there is no check and balance in the system, if there is no accountability, because for example, in the passport section, every ministry has inspector general. The role of the inspector general is to counter on some of the processes, in fact, all of the processes in the various ministry, right? So the issue of passport, the inspector general for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should inspect that. Should do maybe a quarterly inspection of all of the activities of the ministry and make report. That's why you are inspector general for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for, right? So if these things are not happening, and they were all, non-Liberians also got passport during the TWP administration anyway. We don't know the scope of it because it was a closed system. It was a system that was not open to people who were member of UBF or member of the settlers or those who were incorporated in the system already. So because it was not exposed, we are in a different area. We are in a social media, citizenship, journalism era now. So many things that people used to do way back and get away with it. You can do something in Compton today. I'm sitting right here in the United States, and somebody can just go live, and I know right away what is happening in Compton. That was never the case. So today it's easy to expose something, weaknesses in the system, or expose weaknesses in the governance process. It doesn't mean there is no system. But for me, the argument I made, not that I am a proponent of coup d'etat, but I'm also open-minded on this issue. That I'm not one of those who subscribe that the occurrence of one bad event should nullify the possibility of good one happening. If we argue that way, we have had bad leaders who have been elected through democratic process. In fact, one can argue with evidence that maybe 98% of those who have been elected in the legislature from 2006 to present have not shown the courage, the leadership, and the commitment to the country. They've all been there for money. If that's the case, what makes them different from a military leader who was even a corrupt leader too? The difference would be one had gone or came from military training and the other one didn't. So you have a corrupt civilian and a corrupt military leader. They are all the same. They commit the same crime, corruption.
Yeah, but the difference there is, Sam. I think you can answer this. The difference there is the corrupt military leader will have an added advantage because he has a gun. You know, you are more experienced. You know, you got the history down pat more than most of us, right? But when we look at Liberia, the society that we have in Liberia today is a going to just mere politics in Nimba alone. Let's forget about other part of the country. Nimba alone, you see how people are going after each other. When you see the social media attack, you say yes. And this is exactly what happened during the war. The hits, you can see it lingering all over the place, vivid all over the place. You don't even have to ask questions. Don't you think venturing into something that has any resemblance of that thing, a military coup d'etat, whatever that is, don't you think it will have the propensity to even carry us way, way back? Because I don't think Liberians.
Alvin, I'm calling you, sir. Let me be clear on this. You see, the Nimba situation is no different from other countries as well. For your information, I mean like what the Makoma River Union or chat room. I'm in Lofa Youth chat room. I'm in another chat room, the BKS chat room in Lofa. I mean, or in Bon County, the National Association of Bella and Bella speaking people, a chat room. Grandpa. So many different chat room in this country chat room, right? I have friends who put me there and I follow. So Nima is not an exception, right? We know more about Nima because we're from Nima. But in terms of anger, the level of anger, the way people do politicking in Liberia, this is all what the thing. But to conclude, our leaders set the tone. Our leaders set the tone. Look, to even conclude that Liberians are just bad, I don't agree. I don't subscribe to the fact that Liberians are bad. Leaders set the tone. Look, listen. Today, if when Tobo was president, we were young people, we were kids, but we used to hear Tobo wearing it's a high suit. It's what everybody was wearing, right? Because he said it to everybody wanted to look like Tobo. Tournament. I remember my father used to cut my hair with a tournament style. That's how they started to cut our hair with tournament style. Because Tono cut his hair that way. So everybody was cutting the Thomas style, right? Charles Taylor Town, the way Taylor was dressing, the way Taylor was talking, most of the people who believe in Taylor started to talk like that, right? So leaders set the tone. So if you have a leader that comes and say, you know what, this country needs everything. I'm not going to build one single house for myself. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to live a simple life. Trust me, you have ministers, legislators who want to come and say, you know what, this is what our president doing. We should follow our president's example. So leadership is very critical in the governance system because you said it to him. You are just like the father in the home. If you are a father and you're sleeping, then your child comes and say, hey, Alvin, you had a visitor. And you tell your daughter, tell the person, I'm not here. What message? You're teaching the child to lie. So we have to face that. Our leaders are corrupt. Our leaders are antagonistic towards each other. Our leaders consider disagreement in a democratic process as somebody attacking them, as somebody hating them, right? There's a particular leader from Nima on different platform because I talk about this leader that, hey, the way you got your property, and the Liberians can lie. Somebody selling gasoline that the profit margin was not even $200 US a month. All of a sudden, the person gets in government, become millionaire, so the person a businessman, that smart business. Why you lie to people like that? What business this person was making? The person, when they first ran for election, what they filed the elections commission, I've been able to lay my hand on it. The bank account they reported, they even reached $5,000. But they are multi-millionaire just by serving government. You say the person are businessman. It's misleading. And Liberians are good at characterizing people like that. So now you start teaching in college, you say the person are professor. Or as soon as you get 1 degree, or the person are economist. We're quick to give title, and people walk in the gas of being that person. Liberia is a country that just mislead each other. And for me, part of the thing I'm saying here is saying I'm open-minded on this. If you take Rwanda, Junior is living in Rwanda. Paul Kagame, he is what people call benevolent dictator. He does good for the country. Many of the citizens are enjoying. They get education, they have other things, but he also autocratic against his opponents, right? Take, for example, Yoweri Museveni. When he came to power, he did a lot of good stuff. Towards his end day, he has become this delusional and what have you. You can take on Sankara. You can take on Ibrahim Traore. In every country, I'll end on this so maybe Sen can contribute. Every country, leadership important. In Liberia, when we look in Liberia, who in our history that we can point to and say, I want to be like this leader? In Ghana, Ghanaians point to Nkrumah. Nkrumah was a visionary leader. He said Africa needs a central, for Africa to industrialize, we need energy. So he started the Akosomo, the idea of the Akosomo. Then the idea was to link it with the Congo River, which can produce electricity to electrify the whole of Africa and even help Europe with current. That was the vision of Nkrumah and other leaders. Okay? So we quote Nkrumah, we quote Mandela, we go to Rawlings. You know, who can we quote in Liberia? Because our leaders have been, you know, they have not been visionary, they've not been patriotic. What can we do? Even the common land dispute doing now, I've heard different accounts. Who in Liberian history, our leaders from 1847, we fought for the independence of Africa, the independence of Guinea, the independence of Sierra Leone. When this country became independent, this country took, their colonial master took part of our land. Has any leader in Liberia in peacetime gone to Ivory Coast to say, you know, you got part of our land because this colonial boundary divides tribe? The French people took it. You didn't take it. You are our brother. Can we have an amicable settlement on this boundary issue? Who in our history have we heard, even through Roman, that they approach Ivorian leader, nor Sékou Touré or Saka Stephen? Zero. Our leaders they've been only interested in two things: power and money. Power and money. Even other countries see some of our land, so long you preserve them the power, they will let you have it. Arrested.
Thank you. Sam, I think Sam is over to you now. So you can sit down now and fire, because I don't think it'll be hard because you and Mr. Gongo on the same page. Yeah, same view on this.
Ivan, thank you. Junior, my young brother, my young Dana, I'm sorry that we don't have many writers in Liberia for you to read Liberian history to the extent that you understand some of these things. And sometimes when you're arguing, I sit down and look at you.
Dr. Joseph say, Guano, you guys live in the history, but you refuse to write. So you're the one we got on the book. Let's read it. Yeah, so, you guys live in the history, you refuse to write it. And the thing about oral history is that it's not, accurate. One may say this, another person will say this. So it's not accurate. The one we listen to, maybe my grandpa tell me the one and Sam say, no, your grandpa starting he thought there was some mistake inside. That's the real one. Yeah. Then I go to another person, maybe Mr. Kidabo, he said, no, the one Sam thought there was some mistake inside. So y'all that live in the history, this is a challenge. I'm writing my dissertation, Sam. I'm telling you for sure, it is a challenge to us. Sometimes the references that we cite in our proposal when we carry it to the supervisor, if they check in online, some of those references, they are not correct. They don't see them. It's difficult. So they told us that we will be the last batch of Liberian students that we gave a topic relating to Liberia that they will accept. So any other student from Liberia that you will give a topic relating to Liberia, they won't accept it because they have no way to verify those information that you will be writing about. That's the challenge we're facing. I don't know whether other international students facing that, but it's a big challenge for us here. So I think you guys need to start writing a lot. You need to start publishing more books for us out there. My baby writing one book, it will be out very soon. You're not allowed to tell where una book in it sense. So let's keep it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Junior.
So much on Liberia though. So much book on Liberia.
Yeah.
So maybe you and my second talk on that. I don't know what book you want, but there's so much.
No, but there are books on Liberia about the legal side, our case laws. Those we don't have official gazette in Liberia where all of our laws are published there, where all of our cases that are being heard at the Supreme Court, the lower court, like the Circuit Court, the Magistrate Court, are published there. Other countries have their own official gazette, like Ghana, Nigeria, they have official gazette where they publish their laws on it, but Liberia do not have it. So most of the things you will hear say, oh, the Supreme Court took this other decision, is a precedent, but the Liberian people don't know. They don't go on the internet to see those cases because they are not published. And that's a challenge that we, the legal students, we are facing. And I've been speaking to a lot of legal minds, those that have been working.
I agree with you, but it goes back to the system. If you go, you take the Liberian budget, or for publication of Supreme Court opinion is budgeted, is there. But successive courts have not published it. That's all.
Okay. So now that's a challenge. The judiciary has a challenge.
So
Go ahead, Chief.
when you sit on the show and told me there was a system, you argued that I say, okay, well, let me let him rest and enjoy himself. There was no system. First of all, these folks, the freedom seekers, came from America. When they came, many of them were not educated. So they came to the free land, as they call it. They established whatever they know to be a governing. So whatever they establish, and they have one way of doing it. So they led the country for so many years. First of all, the houses they built, Junior. Maybe you didn't see some of those things. I think Mr. Gongro might have saw some of those things. On 15 gate and all those things, those small things, and they get them here right in Mississippi. That those houses and they built. Junior, the war that came to Liberia, it didn't really go to downtown Monrovia. Look at Monrovia. Look at the thing in the bill over there. If they have the mindset to really build, Liberia won't have been like that. But it came from the, no disrespect, and that's the truth. From many of them came from the rubber plantation. Whatever they saw in Mississippi and many other areas, they came and built those things. The street, no addresses, nothing. No numbers on the houses. So there was just mere bluff. There was no system put into place to guide the country. To say, okay, we want to have this kind of country, a modern country. I understand you said that we gave a lot of independence to other countries. Yes. And you know the reason why? Because first of all, we brought with us, I would say, what we call mental slavery, which America was more like, at that time, America was already in control. So people who came from America, they were advocating and say, okay, we want this. And America would say yes. So yes, that's how they were getting, talking for people to get independent. So does it really mean that we're ready to govern? No. They were not governing. When you sit down and read some of those things that these people did, that why the country is like this today. Coming to the 1985 and 80, all these rights riots to 79, so 1980 and 85. Junior, listen, Mr. Gongro said it here. As a young man, Samuel Doe, with all the trouble that was in Liberia, he did. Samuel Doe decided that we need to take government ministries from people private buildings and build our own ministries. People who think, because what was happening in our country was people have their buildings that they were renting, government were renting. It was another form of corruption. They were renting these private buildings. The money was just circulating among them. When Doe decided to say, you know what, we need to build these government ministries, Mr. Gongro is on the show. I think he was around that time. So some people think that it was a wrong thing to do because they come and take investment from the people. It's going to be bad for the country. Where all the trouble begins, and we're here today. So when I told you there was no system, Junior. There was no system. If there was a system.
You said why all the trouble began? Did I miss something? You said why the trouble began?
No, I mean, I said that the trouble with Samuel doing all of those things. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So there was no system at all. If there was a system, Liberia wouldn't have been the way it is. If it coming from out in war, the same thing when Ellen came to power, a government coming from post-war Liberia war, she came with this election. Money was dished out to people, and people are open on money. There were no good law put into place to guard those things. The way you see represented, then they say they're making money today because there were no good law put into place to guide, to put a system into place. Okay, this is how it's supposed to be because of how Ellen saw it too. So she followed the pattern. So the whole Liberia it is today. Everybody that goes into Liberian government, maybe I could be wrong. The mindset is to make money. I must go there and make my own. If I can't make my own, what else can I do? Junior, it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's getting really worse. Every young person in Liberia, there's nothing you will never see anybody talk about agriculture to sit down in a gathering to discuss agriculture. You know what they will discuss? Unity Party, CDC, ANC, party, politics will be discussed. During, quickly here, I was in Paris when I went to beer garden. I said beer garden in Ganta, in a restaurant where people serve food. I went there to buy food to eat. I bought one bowl of rice. I was eating. Can you imagine men and women sit down in a restaurant? The people private businesses. Yeah. I was so, paranoid. I said, gentlemen, listen, this is a business.
And it's been around the road there, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
this is a business place. I came here to eat and get out. You guys are just making noise about your party. It is a party hall. And who's the owner of this place? Some of them were looking at me like, I said, but this is not right in this country. So I ate my food. I just left the food because the noise was too much. I couldn't even understand myself. So, Junior, all I'm saying here is Liberia problem is just too much to the degree that the way it's going, I don't know how.
During your days in the 80s, when you guys used to go to school, you always used to see the political discussion and
no.
Now let me ask you a follow-up question. Let me ask you.
Hold on now, Chief.
You are in the bush, I agree. But let me ask you a follow-up question. When you guys used to go on a coup, where you used to go do the coup dinner, let me say it that way. Were there any other political discussion ongoing there?
I just said no to everything. We didn't even know about what we call politics.
So why do you think it was done that way? Why do you think people were not discussing politics?
Hold on, I'm coming now. Coming from the bush, there was nothing we call politics. Even the representatives there, we didn't even know about representative until late when John Bato then started surfacing in our BKS zone. So then when I went to Ganta, everybody's focus was to go to school. Most people focus was to go to school. Most people focus was to, buy produce. And that's what we were doing. Independent. We were working, making farm to just independent. There was nothing like.
So then why do you think that we just sway or slide away from being independent now? We all discussing politics.
Great.
Why do you think so?
Because again, I just lay it out here. When Ellen came to power, she did not lay down the foundation that Liberia will follow. She did some things though. It's not everything she did bad. But they started pumping more money into politics. Focus started shifting to politics. representatives are making a bunch of money. And they go to work 2 days a week. So with all this today, Junior, it would be difficult for any politician to lead Liberia effectively because the mindset is I must go into government. If a representative can go there and make $15,000 and get car and get all these incentives, I must go there and do my own too. That's the idea in Liberia right now. Me and my friend were arguing last night. He said, why agriculture will be good for Liberia? I said, at this point, it will not, because the reason is it will, in the other hand, it will be good, but who's there to work?
Thank you.
Everybody's mindset is politics. Look,
Thank
campaign
you.
are not open, for example, in Bassett yesterday, in Kakata yesterday, people parading everywhere in Ghana as we speak. Campaign are not open in Ghana. You can't talk about politics right now. There's nothing. Everybody doing that normal business. But
Thank you. Thank you.
It's all about what? Political discussion. So
Thank you very much, Sam.
How do we move forward? If we can introduce different system into the country that will suppress some of these things and get direction to the country. So I will stop here to tell you your argument of system was there. Maybe there will be a lot of book that you might read and see what system you talking about, because having a passport doesn't mean that system there. So any country can have a passport.
Thank you very much, Sam. I think we both having the same conversation. Like you said, during your days, political discussion were not as intensive as it is today, and I believe that those things were happening because of system. But based on the fact that we don't have the system today, so you see everybody going into politics. So we agree with you. Let's stop there. We are receiving a friendly report from the Ganta port of entry as huge influx of the Guinean armed forces were seen at the Ganta port of entry today. They were having conversation with the Nibadians and also Liberians that the situation is between national government. So we citizens should be cautious of it, and we should always respect the relationship that we have with our fellow citizens across the other country, because there are Liberians who are farming in Guinea. You also said that there are Liberians who are also, Guineans who are also farming in Liberia, and Guinea and Liberia share the same heritage, the same background, and the people in Guinea are considered the people in Liberia. So let's leave the issue with the national government as they resolve it, and let's continue to do our little trading like we used to do before, where Liberians will go to Guinea to buy their pepper, Guineans will come to Liberia to buy their stuff. Let's continue to uphold that unity between us. And that's the report we're receiving from the Ganta port of entry. You can follow the BKS TV online page, and you will be able to get more details about this story here tonight. It's been a wonderful conversation. We've discussed a lot. The CEO made his point. You made your point, Sam. Mr. Kilavo made his point. So, as always, we need to give you the time to give us a parting comment. So let's start with you, Kilavo, and then we go to the CEO. Then we go to Sam, and then we call it a day. Kilavo, in 2 minutes, give us a parting comment, Chief.
Yeah, internet struggle.
I think we need to do some work on our platform. I don't know.
No. LEC on?
Somebody message the Google's internet.
Yeah, so see you. Let's hear you, and then we go to Sam, and then we call it a day for tonight. What was your take on the show?
I think the show was great. I enjoy the conversation. We never expected the cultural conversation with Mr. Johnny, and he really laid out really well, and I think that was really good. We had a really good conversation. Great show. Always, as I do, say thanks to all our followers for always following us here every evening, every night. It was a great show. Thanks to Sam for coming. I mean, even though it's busy schedule, you always make time to come here, find time for us. Wonderful show, very insightful, educational as well. We learned a lot tonight, and we look forward to being back tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you very much, CEO. Just so you all know out there, Sugar Nova is in Liberia, Spring 5K.
What they call
Junior
Sugar
is still
Nova?
be back there.
Can I anything see that
Yeah.
What they call Sugar Nova?
Can I
Okay,
correct?
you don't know what they call Sugar Nova. Just wait, let me run my publicity for myself. Sugar Nova Spring or 5K, and I stay here. If you all let me pass with no 5K spring, I get my degree. I will set standard. Let me stop here. Mr. Kidabo is back, so let's go to in we can use him. Mr. Gonglo,
No.
well, I don't know whether
LEC honor.
in the green yard buto, we even get power, water, we got electricity, we got everything down there in America.
Well, Sam can do a closing argument. Mr. Gongli, can you hear us? Mr. Gongli, are you there?
No, man, me close. I gotta go do something quick.
Yeah, close, Chief. Because you close down, we call it a day. Now while we still holding on.
Yeah, my network is kind of flipping.
Yeah,
but you can give your parting comment, Mr. Gonglo.
No, I think it was a good show. Johnny is very knowledgeable about Liberia. And he's someone I haven't met in person, but I've spoken with him because we're all on the same platform or closing argument. He's worked all over Liberia. He knows much about the border communities across the country, and he's a traditionalist. So he got some very insightful, thoughtful ideas about how things should be done. I actually found sometimes his argument very interesting, even on the Guinea border issue. He actually got good knowledge on the history of the communities along the border. So it was something that maybe we were to get him to talk on, because the other time on the show he gave a detail and things that happened and never resulted in conflict, and why this one is bringing conflict. He gave that lecture to us, so it was good. But I just hope that, Junior, you're a young person. The internet is powerful. So even if you have heard some oral history before, test some of your oral history in ChatGPT, in some of the AI platform. Something no. You see, do not overlook AI. AI is a feature.
Chief, AI is good, but AI has zero knowledge about Liberia. AI only goes to people that have upload information. Let's leave it. Let's not go with AI and Liberia information.
So no, I'm just trying to say some of your knowledge, some of the oral history. Don't overlook the power of AI. I can tell you that.
I agree with you, but you see, I come in now. Let me make a short point there. AI will not go to get the information from outside the box. AI will always give you information that have been given to it before. Liberia, we do not have our history on the internet. How do you go to AI to ask questions? AI will just fabricate those things.
Yeah, you know what? I'm advising and encouraging you, because that's what they call a large language model, right? LLM. So it takes billions and billions of information, and look at it.
I agree.
And look at the likelihood of this one being a true answer, because based on the frequency that has been used, and then make a conclusion that, yeah, this is the truth, this will be the fact. I understand this stuff to some extent, right? So do not assume what you have is not. No one has written about it online. Test it. I've tested information about my village, about Glaze up here, and I have some interesting information about Glaze up here, right? No one has written a book about Glaze up here, but people have written comments about Glaze up here. I'm from Glaze up here, so I was able to sit down and start to read on the characteristics of Glaze up here, on some of the information.
Yeah, you consider those things to be true?
No, because I can verify some of the information from today, whether it's true or not. I could say, okay, this one here.
That's what I'm asking now. So after you did the research on the AI model that you did it on, you verify them to be true?
Yeah, because I'm from Glade. So if somebody tells me, oh, the Gonglo family in Glade, they are known for X, Y, Z, I can verify that. If somebody said the PB family in Glade, they are known for this, I can verify that, right? So do not overlook AI to assume that. One time I just took one of my friends, she lives in North Carolina. I just tested her name. I said, let me just read a little bit about her. And I got so much, and I just tested her. I said, this is why it's written about you in AI. So don't overload AI. That's all I
Thank
can
you.
say. We in
Thank you
education,
very much.
we have been trained on how to use AI in classroom because it's like when calculator came first, people used to join so that calculator knowledge a person get, not your own knowledge. But today, on all public tests, the calculator is on the computer, you are allowed to use it. On professional exam, you're allowed to use a calculator because it has now become a tool for good. Okay? When Google came newly, or a person at Google Scholar, man, you go Google idea at Google Scholar. Today, Google is a way, right? AI is just coming. Oh, they mean that chat GPT right in that ear. But that is a way. Big companies are deploying AI model now. That's how people are
You see,
losing.
Mr. Kilabo, I will call you after the show so that we can have a conversation here where you will appear here and then you give us the importance of using AI, because I know our Liberian society, we are still, sorry to say lack of words, we are still dumb to it. We don't know how to use AI the proper way. And I think we can learn from your knowledge. The librarian, especially the students, even the professor themselves, they can learn from your knowledge. So we will invite you here on the show as a special person, and then you can give us the pros and cons about it, because you guys know how Google came in assistant, and then you work with it, and now we're having AI, we're having different model of AI and all of that. You got ideas on it. So I think we can open a tutor here, more like a tutor than an interview, where you educate our people on how to use AI, the importance of AI, in a way in which we're supposed to use them to develop our community, to develop our educational sector in Liberia. Thank you for being here tonight. It's been a wonderful conversation with you. Sam, take us home in 2 minutes, Chief.
Okay, thank you, Junior. So thank you, Mr. Gongro. Thank you for being on the show. It's always good to be here. Let me say many thanks to our listeners and viewers for being here with us. Without them, it would be impossible to sit on this show. Thank you for watching. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was great to be here tonight to listen to uh, Johnny. Johnny did well. He explained well. That's a good thing. Sometimes it's great to listen to other people and get a view on issues. So, with that being said, I just want to say, those of you who are listening to me from the radio land, from the motherland, from the Republic and the Green City of Bible now, I want to say good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you. Listen, better days are coming. No matter what we say, how we do in Liberia, there will be a time that Liberia will be different. Life is changing. Life is evolving in Liberia. No matter how our some rotten politicians in Liberia, things will change. Don't lose hope. The hope will come. And one day we all will sit down. Maybe some of us will not get there with you, but I believe that life will be better for you in Liberia. There's no doubt in my mind. Other countries have gone through a lot. They have changed. And today, the example is China. China was once called a third world country. Today, China is more people, the debate is out there calling maybe a superpower. Some people say, nah, yeah. So yes, country can rise based on good leadership. One day we will find our leadership, but we continue to do business as usual, thinking that with our two other parties in Liberia, no other party can lead. Let's change that dynamic and look into our bosom. around us, there are other people who could do better for Liberia than those that we have now. I thank you for watching and thank you for being with us tonight. May God bless you. And may God bless our state and save our state. Thank you.
So that's it. It has been a great, great conversation. All of you, see you guys tomorrow.